Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 3. Let's begin with some breaking news from out of state. A gunman is dead after an active shooting incident at a synagogue just outside of Detroit. Local law enforcement say at least one person with a rifle drove a truck into the temple, which caught on fire. Security saw this person. Shots were fired back and forth. The shooter was killed in the truck, but they wouldn't say how he died. Investigators are still working to identify the gunman. Officials say one of the security officers was hit by the truck, taken to the hospital. They're expected to be okay. No one else was hurt. Investigators not sure if there's more than one person responsible for this attack, but it looks like it was at least just the one person inside the truck. Law enforcement still clearing the area out of an abundance of caution.
So the chief and I have been communicating for almost 2 weeks. Every time I've gotten some intelligence from the national level, I've been sharing. We've been talking for 2 weeks about the potential, sadly, of this happening. So there was no lack of preparation.
Now, we're going to continue to monitor the situation. You can see what a crazy scene it is there. We'll bring you updates as they come in.
Yeah, you can see it's still very active when we have those live pictures for you. All right, we are now heading out to the Space Coast, where NASA is about to give an update on the progress being made toward that Artemis mission. We've been talking a lot about this.
And we've been trying to figure out what they're going to talk about, what kind of big update this might be. Let's take a listen to this press conference here. This looks like we are inside the vehicle assembly building, and it is just about to get started. So let's listen.
We're going to share details about the outcome of the flight readiness review and answer your questions. They are Dr. Lori Glaze, Acting Associate Administrator for NASA's Exploration Systems Development Mission Directorate; John Honeycutt, Chair of the Artemis II Mission Management Team; Sean Quinn, Exploration Ground Systems Program Manager; and Norm Knight, Director of Flight Operations. So we'll have some opening remarks from our panelists today, then we'll get into question and answers from both you here in the room as well as on the phone. A reminder to those who have joined us by phone, you can join the question queue by pressing *1. And with that, we'll start with Lori.
Great. Thank you so much, Rachel. It's great to be here again with you all. And thank you so much for the turnout. Thank you for being here and for the tremendous interest, sustained interest even in Artemis II. As Rachel said, we just completed, about a couple hours ago, we completed 2 days of discussions as part of our Artemis II Flight Readiness Review. The Flight Readiness Review is our final big assessment of our readiness for launch, where we are going to, when we launch, fly 4 astronauts around the moon and bring them home safely. An incredible amount of work has gone into preparing for this test flight by thousands of people across our integrated team. At the conclusion of the Flight Readiness Review, I'll just say during the Flight Readiness Review, we had extremely thorough discussions, very open, transparent. We talked a lot about our risk posture and how we're mitigating those risks. We reviewed the challenges that we've had and how we've addressed them. And we talked about the work that remains, what's left to do, and how we're going to get through all of that. We were fortunate to have our crew join us virtually for the review from Houston: Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen. Having them join us in this review really reinforced the importance of having open, honest discussions about our path forward and about the risks that we're asking them to take. At the conclusion of the FRR, all the teams polled go to launch and fly Artemis II around the moon, pending completion of some of the work before we roll out to the launch pad. Just a reminder to everybody, we talk about it every time we talk about this flight. It's a test flight, and it is not without risk, but our team and our hardware are ready. We are planning to roll out to the pad, back out to the pad, targeting next week, a week from today on the 19th. We are on track for that. Everything's going pretty well. Maybe even a little ahead of that, but we're shooting for the 19th. And then once we get back out to the pad, we'll configure for launch. Pending completion of the work in the VAB and at the pad, we are on track for a launch as early as April 1st. And we are working toward that date. I'll say the launch time on the April 1st is at 6:24 p.m. I also wanted to note, I'm sure many of you have seen our little calendar with the green squares on it that shows the available dates for launches in April. We have also just continued to refine our analyses of launch availability and are adding April 2nd to our calendar of potential launch opportunities in that early April launch period. The launch on the 2nd would be at 7:22 p.m. Within those 6 days between the 1st and the 6th, we can't always turn around every day for an attempt. We would anticipate on the order of about 4 opportunities within that 6-day period. Again, while I am comfortable and the agency is comfortable with targeting April 1st as our first opportunity, just keep in mind we still have work to go. There are still things that need to be done within the VAB and out at the pad. And as always, we'll always be guided by what the hardware is telling us, and we will launch when we're ready. I want to close just by saying how proud I am of this amazing team that is working tirelessly to prepare to launch and fly our astronauts around the moon and bring them home safely. With that, I'll hand it over to John.
Okay, thank you, Lori. Hello again. It's good to be back with you all today, and it's even better for us to be ready in the rocket to get ready to roll out again.
All right, so you heard the headline there from Acting Associate Administrator Lori Glaze that they are go for launch as soon as April 1st at 6:24 in the evening. She said the flight readiness review team all pulled go on things looking really good for that launch window. And if that doesn't happen on the 1st, there's another opportunity on the 2nd.
That's right. Now, keep in mind, as you listen to all this and as you watch the dates, it has been rolled out once and then rolled back in, and we have seen many delays for years and years with this, but they seem to have a positive tone out there in this press conference. They seem to be ready for a go and to get this thing back out on the launch pad on March 19th for a possible April 1st, April 2nd launch.
I feel like I was not ready, prepared for them to say that date again, because it seems like they were not on target to do that, but they said they will launch when they are ready, and it sounds like they are definitely ready with that SLS rolling back out to the launch pad again from the Vehicle Assembly Building, as you just mentioned, next Wednesday on March 19th. Yeah. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on that. They're still going with the news conference, so you can watch it on clickorlando.com.
Yeah, check that out if you're interested. Everybody is impacted by this next story. We want to bring in meteorologist Julie Broughton as we have those storms. Not even rolling in, they are here,
right.
Julie.
And we've been talking about this for several days. We're watching a cold front that will bring some changes and some much needed rain. That is a wider lookout for you. You can see that front already moving into our northern counties. Out ahead of that, here's how that looks as we go in a little bit closer for you on the radar. Now, I do want to point out, I do have the lightning detection data turned on. We are not seeing much lightning, so that's great news. So at this point, we are seeing some beneficial rainfall, the heaviest rain in our northern counties where you see the yellows, the reds, the oranges. We can go in even a little bit closer for you. So if you're in areas like Tavares, down toward Ellsworth Junction, moving over toward Zellwood, all of this is continuing to track off toward Seminole Springs, that line moving to the south. So we'll see these showers moving through our counties likely till around 6, 7 o'clock. Then they'll begin to clear our southern counties as we head into the evening hours. But Lynn, Electra, York, over toward Bahia Oaks, back down toward Denellen, all seeing some pockets of those heavier showers. And this will be the case for us throughout the day. And we're going to get that front through here tonight, but the weather will remain unsettled throughout the weekend because this front won't make a clean sweep. It will stall out, kind of wiggle. So unfortunately, a lot of Central Florida starting their spring break. Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah. So we're talking about some rain this weekend and then a stronger cold front headed our way on Monday, which means it will be in the 60s for highs Tuesday.
I mean,
and
sorry
Wednesday.
for the spring breakers, but we desperately need the rain. We
sure
still have
do.
that threat of fire everywhere. So
And it'll still be way worse where they live. Wherever they're coming from, they'll still be happy to be here.
Yeah, we
all
always
right.
win.
They'll have a good time. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you so much. All right, let's get you another big national headline today. This was a shooting at a college in Virginia. Let's take you to the scene here. This is Old Dominion. Police say A gunman opened fire there at the University in Norfolk just before 11 o'clock this morning. Police there say one victim died, 2 others were hurt. They're listed in stable condition, even though that's not really a condition. The gunman was also killed in this. Officials say it's not clear right now if this was a targeted attack, but police are investigating to figure out a motive behind it.
Sadly, that is a scene we have seen played out too often across college campuses.
Yeah, very true. All right, we have a lot more coming for you, including millions of dollars coming to help in Osceola. This was to prepare for future storms, how neighbors there will be getting ready.
Yeah, and we're also going to talk about what a lot of you would like to see happen to a struggling mall in our area.
$13 million in FEMA funding is coming to Osceola County. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez. Of course, we know living here in Florida that hurricanes and excessive rainfall is inevitable. And this part of Osceola County where I am right now has seen issues in the past after major storms. They've seen flooded streets and flooded homes. But now these federal dollars will help the county strengthen its ability to deal with all of that.
Today, I'm proud to announce.
On Thursday, Congressman Darren Soto sharing that $13 million in FEMA funds will be awarded to Osceola County. The first $10 million will fund drainage improvements to reduce flooding in the Buenaventura Lake subdivision. The money will be used to build a new positive outfall system to improve existing stormwater collection. Soto tells me he's committed to doing what he can to help improve the systems that residents rely on to keep them safe, especially after witnessing major flooding in recent years.
And it was a real emotional scene going there, you know, walking through 2-3 feet of water at that time, especially after Hurricane Ian. We had the FEMA administrator down there at the time, Criswell, and seeing abuelas coming out of their homes and other people who were just looking for help. It really motivates you to do whatever you can.
The other $3 million will go toward making traffic lights at 5 intersections storm resistant. 13 wire-mounted signals like this one will be swapped out for mast arm-mounted ones that can withstand 150-mile-an-hour winds. The funds to mitigate flooding will go toward a project that is already in motion here on Simpson Road. That project includes updating the sewer and drainage system. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Okay, so today might be a sad day for a lot of moviegoers. It is the last day for the Premier Cinema 14 at Orlando's Fashion Square Mall.
I hear it had really good popcorn. Extra good movie.
I've been there
popcorn.
just to get the popcorn.
I know you have. You're the person one of the few people who have told me that the popcorn is really good there. Things are changing at the mall. Your social media guru, DJ, tells us what you're hoping will happen there.
What should happen to Orlando Fashion Square Mall? Wahida says that was my hangout 30 years ago. Unfortunately, I'm sure you've seen Premier Cinema 14 is closing on Friday, marking the end of an era. So we asked you on Facebook what should be done with this mall, and we got a lot of great responses. Sarah says, turn it into homeless housing, help our own who can't afford a place to live and trying their hardest to make all ends meet. Find a really good grant writer to have it funded. Michael says, sell it to Disney. Jerry says, just install a Skyway to Disney. Mandy says, retrofit the building or tear it down and bring affordable housing, a community garden, a homeless shelter, or anything else that can help the community. And at clickorlando.com, we put up this poll. What would you like to be done with Fashion Square Mall in Orlando? The number one answer by far, redevelop the mall. So our Stephanie Rodriguez just did a story this week on the redevelopment of this mall, where the plans currently stand. And if you're interested, you can find all of that information at that QR code on your screen right now. And while you're reading the article, go down to the bottom of the page, drop a comment there, letting us know what you want to see done with this property.
Like a mixed-use place. They're doing it in other areas. They're turning malls like that into a place where you can live and shop and do all. You'd like to see it into a pickleball palace, I bet.
I would love to see an air-conditioned pickleball spot. That would be amazing. I'm curious after seeing some of the comments what Disney would do with that space. They're never going to buy that.
That is, I can tell you what they're not interested in, and I haven't spoken to anyone at Disney. All right, still to come, what the government is trying to do to provide some relief at the gas pump.
Yeah, and what 1 in 3 Americans say is keeping them from being able to pay their bills. That's coming up.
Welcome back, everyone. We have some updates on this live breaking situation that happened at this synagogue shooting just outside of Detroit. We've now learned that a vehicle apparently drove down the hallway inside the temple, and that is where it caught fire. To bring you up to speed on this, local law enforcement say at least one person with a rifle drove that truck into the temple, which then caught fire. The shooter was killed in the truck, but wouldn't say what he died of is the initial information that we were getting, but you can see still on the scene out there, a very active situation. The new information is that the vehicle drove down a hallway inside that synagogue, inside that temple, and that is where it caught fire. Of course, we're going to continue to monitor this situation just outside of Detroit and bring you the latest on air and on clickorlando.com.
Hey there, I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez. Pushing it to the limit to try and make ends meet, America's unaffordability crisis has some people taking drastic steps, and it may only get worse. Plus, a short-term stopgap to try and halt the rapid increase in gas prices. Let's get over to Maribel Aber in today's Money Matters. So the war in Iran has choked off the flow of oil. It's forcing the U.S. to have to dip into reserves.
I mean, you said it right, Lauren, stopgap. The U.S. and other members of the International Energy Agency have agreed to release strategic oil reserves. At least 400 million barrels will be made available to the global market, making it the largest coordinated release in history. Now, the move comes as crude prices jump amid the ongoing war with Iran. This morning, both domestic and international crude are trading at around $90 a barrel. AAA puts the current national average for a gallon of unleaded at $3.60. Now, even with the influx of strategic reserves, relief at the pump may not be felt soon. CNN reports that gas retailers will begin switching to the more expensive summer blend of fuel this month. That will likely push gas prices even higher as travel increases in the spring. Lauren.
It's just like a 1-2 punch no matter where you go. And we know gas prices pushing close to just $4, or I should say $4 is now the latest blow to many families already struggling with these persistent high costs.
Exactly. And now we're talking about skipping meals, going without heat, driving less. This is how many people are actually diverting money to their health care expenses, according to new research. The West Health Gallup Center recently surveyed 20,000 people. They found more than a third have cut back on daily living expenses. Over 25% have put off medical treatments, including surgeries, while others are delaying home purchases or retirement. Now, some have even taken out loans to cover large medical bills. The center predicts the situation could worsen due to the loss of Affordable Care Act subsidies this year. Lauren.
You know, it's heartbreaking, but you put it in such great perspective. For many, the high crude oil prices are a mere inconvenience. For others, it is really life-altering. So, Maribel, thank you. Remember to get the latest money and consumer news anytime. Head to our website, clickorlando.com.
I mean, you hate to see people have to make a decision between, am I going to pay a bill or am I going to eat?
Right.
You know, that's just not where
it's causing a lot of people to live in the woods right now in a tent or in their cars. Well, this is an interesting story. Could the company that brought us beaver nuggets be getting an F when it comes to the Better Business Bureau?
For fabulous?
No, for failing. Some Buc-ee's locations got an F from the BBB. They say it's because the company has a pattern of not addressing customer complaints. Officials say they don't have any assistance phone numbers posted on the website. Email concerns go unanswered. There are no responses to 88 complaints filed against the businesses. Now, I want to say this, because we have our Buc-ee's.
Yeah, and we love them.
And I've had some nice meals at that Buc-ee's. Now, the BBB only rated 38 Buc-ee's locations out of the 54 across the country. They did not grade the ones in Florida. So if you go to that swing by that Daytona Beach Buc-ee's, it has not graded. And it doesn't mean that those necessarily had bad food or something wrong. It just means they weren't responding to the people who had a complaint.
I mean, if you break it down across all the Buc-ee's, 88 customers, and maybe sometimes, you know, when you get somebody who's really cranky, they'll complain again and again. So 88 complaints over all those Buc-ee's, none of them in Florida. I'm still going to get my beaver nuggets.
She's victim blaming right now.
And chopped brisket. It's good.
It is really good. I like the little breakfast burrito with the
so
brisket
good.
in there. Yeah. All right. Well, still to come. How far gas prices are climbing? How far they've climbed so far with this war happening overseas?
And coming up on the news at 4 o'clock, the concerns from people in Winter Garden after losing yet another beloved small business. Welcome back to News 6 at 3, everybody. Tensions continue to rise in the Middle East after Iranian forces attacked a shipping vessel last night.
And today, the country's supreme leader vowed to keep using the closure of the Strait of Hormuz as leverage against the United States. Your community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton, is speaking with locals today who are having to pay the price for these rising oil prices. Tylisa, tell us what's going on.
Well, Matt, you just said it right there, having to pay the price at the gas tank. That's exactly right. I spoke to a number of rideshare drivers. Just take a look at this parking lot. Every car that you see here is a rideshare driver. We're just outside of the airport where they come to park before they try to pick up passengers. Now, they told me they actually have to be selective with who they choose because of those miles. So if it's a short ride, they say it's no longer worth it because that's just a couple of dollars that won't get the job done because of those gas prices are so high right now. So they actually say it depends on the miles. They really have to choose which one that they will take because they're spending more at the tank. And you can listen right here about what more of these rideshare drivers say they have to deal with. Are you more selective on the rides you choose now?
You have to nitpick it. You have to nitpick it what you do. If you pick up a trip, you cannot do a trip $3, $4, $5 no more. It have to be at least $5 to $6, $7 difference.
Because Uber can tell you is 4 minutes, 5 minutes, which is almost 15 minutes for $4. And they don't count the traffic, they don't count the traffic lights.
So a lot of them say they could be waiting in this parking lot for hours before they finally get a couple of ones that are right, that have the right amount of time, that have the right amount of distance where they can really see them getting money back after filling up their tank. I did ask a few, hey, how much money did you have to spend before gas went up versus now? One woman said that she spent $35 to fill up her tank before gas prices went high. Now she says that she almost has to spend $45. Another person said they went up to $55 from that $35. Different car, but same impact when it comes to spending money at the gas tank. So they say, yes, it affects them as rideshare drivers, but at the end of the day, it's going to affect customers too. Reporting in Orlando, I'm News 6's Tylisa Hampton.
Yeah, it impacts those rideshare drivers.
For sure. And I know a lot of people, they don't pay attention to what's happening around the world. And this is one reason why we should all pay attention. Tylisa, thank you. Because, one place in the world sneezes and the rest of us catch the cold. So
that's the truth.
That's what's happening right now.
Butterfly effect there. Well, more than a month after a massive fire at a railroad facility, this was in Dunellen, neighbors are still fuming about everything that took place.
Yeah, they once again urged city council members to take some legal action here. But again, the city has chosen not to do that. News 6's Catherine Silver was in the contentious meeting to tell us why.
I just got out of the hospital 2 or 3 weeks ago. Breathing problems.
Every day that goes by, frustration is growing in Dunellen after thousands of chemically soaked rail ties caught fire in February.
We can't go back, like we said, you can't go back in time, but there are things that we still can do. Your community is feeling unheard by you.
Wednesday night, the city council decided not to take legal action of their own or look into possibly joining a complaint that's already been filed by Marion County. It names Trackline, Florida Northern, and CSX and seeks an injunction that could require them to clean up the remaining hazards, prevent any further violations, and give the county relief for any fees.
It muddies up the waters, and that's all it does. Our mission is to get this mess cleaned up and get it out of here.
The vice mayor believes the city will make more progress by talking directly to CSX outside of the courts.
Every effort down the line has been done to ensure that we reach the goal of the removal of these cross ties.
The state agency overseeing the cleanup so far says all of the ties impacted by last month's fire are gone. 40,000 more that were not burned have also been removed, and work continues to get rid of the rest.
I go to my back window and the sky is orange.
Tina Blumish-Kindred remembers waking up to a catastrophic sight. She's spent every day since trying to get answers and action.
Do you think the city is doing enough?
No, I don't feel like they have.
We're also learning when the rest of the unburned railroad ties will be moved out of Dunellen and Marion County. The council expects it will happen by the end of April at the earliest. In Dunellen, I'm Catherine Silver, News 6.
Well, most regions in the Atlantic saw a record amount of sargassum. Since February, that's that stinky, smelly stuff that washes ashore and could just ruin your beach day. More than 10 million metric tons in total.
Yeah, so Bree Buckley with our CBS affiliate in Miami takes a look at where this stuff is already and when it could arrive here.
This family from Connecticut comes down on vacation around this time every year. They say they're familiar with the seaweed lining the shore.
A little more seaweed than we're used to seeing. It's not too bothersome.
But experts say more is on the way.
The worst is yet to come.
Dr. Xuan Min Hu is a professor of oceanography at the University of South Florida. According to the school's latest 2026 sargassum outlook, most regions in the Atlantic Ocean are seeing record high sargassum for the month of February, more than 10 million metric tons total.
A lot of variable factors like ocean currents and winds that can play a big role in determining whether or not Florida will receive a record amount or not. But those are difficult to predict.
He says the bloom is hitting earlier this year, piling on top of what was left over from last year, combined with a warm ocean that helps it grow. Now what's floating in the water is a natural plant and safe. But when it washes up on shore and begins to decay, that's when it attracts insects and bacteria.
Because once they had so much, and I had very bad itch, so I avoided.
Cleanup costs millions, with mitigation plans in place to either mix or rake the sargassum along our coast and keep the beach clean and tourists happy.
The sun's out, it's not raining, we're out here to have a good time.
Dr. Hu tells me in the next couple weeks we could see more sargassum on shore in the Florida Keys. He says it'll take a bit longer for Broward and Miami-Dade beaches into April or May.
All right, very interesting. If that stuff gets on the beach or it brushes your leg while you're in the water.
Beach day over.
Nothing will send you out of the water quicker. All right, well, this show we like to keep spontaneous, and as live feeds come in, we like to take a look at things that are happening around the country and the state. Right now we're following this. Governor Ron DeSantis about to speak in Naples. You can see this in Collier County, the sheriff's office. He's talking about law enforcement bonuses. Okay, we don't have a ton more information than that, but you could see the Collier County chopper there behind him, and it's literally labeled law enforcement bonuses. If you're a law enforcement officer or the family of one, I would imagine this could be very important to you. So if you'd like to see it, check out clickorlando.com and see what the governor is talking about there.
Well, the quick reactions of some first responders kept a situation from being so much worse.
Hey, little man, you doing okay?
All right, earlier this month, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office officers were called to a shopping center by a woman who said she accidentally locked her child and her keys in her car. Now, the toddler also unbuckled himself from his car seat and was moving around in that car, which made shattering the window not an option, because where's all that glass going to go, right? So officers used a special tool to pop the door open, and then you had a happy reunion with the mom and toddler less than 10 minutes after the call went out. Officials say the mom called officers right away, and they understand accidents do happen, mistakes happen. So when they do, be like her and call for help as soon as possible. Don't wait till a situation gets much worse and you're embarrassed to call. Don't be embarrassed. They are there to help you.
Yeah, we see mistakes happen. This was unintentional and happened right away. She called. So interesting to see
Happy
that video, though.
there.
Yeah, well, a wild water rescue in South Florida. This one's pretty terrifying. If you have a friend or a family member in a wheelchair, take a look at this video. We got a man in a wheelchair fell into the water at a marina in Stewart. The Martin County Sheriff's Office says he was loading his son onto a boat when another boat rocked their boat, causing the wheelchair ramp to collapse. So here he was. Bystanders jump in, tying ropes around the chair, trying to keep his head above water. But that 230-pound chair was just too heavy.
And then we started realizing that the top harness that he had was still holding him in, and then started to kind of choke him a little bit.
With him not being able to speak to us to articulate, kind of how he was feeling, we knew urgency was the best route there.
So deputies were able to unstrap the man, fit him with a life vest, put him on a backboard. They swam him to shore. Here's a look at that happening. He had some minor cuts and bruises, is expected to be okay, but a very precarious situation to find yourself in as he couldn't get out of the chair. You don't want to let that chair sink to the bottom in case you could save it, because those things are worth about $30,000.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And well, it all turned out okay, thank goodness. Everything's but just scary to see that situation. All right, now to a feathery rescue in Central Florida, specifically Polk County. Polk County Fire Rescue helped Sheriff's Office deputies, Fort Meade firefighters, and FWC rescue an owl. The bird was found dangling in the air, entangled in what looked like a fishing line. How did that happen? Firefighters used their ladder to get to the owl and helped cut it down. Look at how pretty he is, or whatever it is. It's beautiful. The owl was handed over to FWC to remove the rest of the line from around its little wing there. No word on if the owl was released or when it may be released back into the wild. But you just wonder who left that.
Oh.
Who left it there? How did wire, fishing wire?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going for the who joke in the middle.
I did, but you ruined it.
It hurt. No, that one was bad. All right, well, a line of storms making its way through Central Florida right now. We'll talk about where those are.
And plus, as we near the thick of spring break in Florida, how some communities are preparing for the crowds that are coming.
Your Thursday evening traffic alert. You're going to see a complete closure yet again of the Florida Turnpike in the northbound direction in the northbound portions. I'm talking over by Hancock between Mineola and Montverde. So just be careful overnight. It's been happening a lot, but we always got to make sure you're being cautious, right? And then 429 over at Schofield. This was the warning we gave you guys earlier in the week. You're going to see a lot of it as they put in that new bridge over here for the extender out towards 27. So just be cautious. And then you'll see those closures and lane closures along the Turnpike and I-4 between about 528 and the Turnpike out there. And then, of course, westbound I-4 approaching 434. Some minor delays as you approach the express lanes. I'm Trooper Steve with your News 6 Traffic Alert. Drive safely. I'll catch you in the morning.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bill Ray Nissan Longwood. We do it the right way.
Welcome back, everyone. We want to take you outside right now. This is a live look at a beautiful part of Mount Dora. You can see the clouds looming and lingering in the background there. I'm not mad at it because I know how dry it has been here in the area. We need some rain, and it's on the way.
Yes, and a lot of us are getting some of that rain. The good news, there's not much lightning out there, but we get those new drought numbers every Thursday morning. All of us are under drought conditions. So here's what we're talking about as we head through the afternoon at 3:45. I wanted to show you the temperatures across the southeast. There is that front moving into North Florida. And you can see right now Orlando still sitting at 87 degrees. But as we go in a little bit closer and you look at the temperature map, Ginger, do you have any idea where our cold front might be? Do you see any differences there?
I feel like there's almost a 90-degree over there, and then there's in the 60s.
Yeah,
I see it.
So it's doing its thing. And of course, we're talking about clouds and showers bringing that cooler air down from aloft, so that rain-cooled air. Now, along with this, we are seeing gusty winds. Right now in Sanford, winds are gusting 38 miles per hour. New Smyrna Beach, you are seeing 29-mile-per-hour gusts right now. So here's a look at our radar. We have that defined line of showers. I do have the lightning detection data turned on. We are not seeing much lightning. Now, this is the same system that brought severe weather to the Midwest, also bringing the threat of severe weather today to the Carolinas. A lot of that more intense energy is remaining to our north, but notice the yellows, the reds, the oranges. That shows us where we are seeing heavy rain. At times, our radar indicating a couple of inches of rain falling per hour. These storms are not going to be on top of you for an hour, but still putting down some decent rainfall as we go a little bit closer, right on top of Winter Park, University Park, back toward Beulah. See, are you, Ginger,
cheering for rain?
Yes, she's hoping she won the rain lottery.
Yes.
And so seeing some showers as well out near Geneva and Chuliote. Here's a look at how the rest of our afternoon shapes up. Start the clock for you right there at 3 o'clock, stopping the clock at 4 o'clock. Notice the showers will continue to transition from northwest to southeast by 5 o'clock, right along the I-4 corridor.
I see the front, Julie.
Yes, it's, I made it nice and blue. Actually, it was huge earlier, and meteorologist Michelle Morgan came back. She's like, do you want your front that large? Can I make it smaller? So we'll see most of the rain clearing our southern counties by around 8 o'clock. Overnight, we'll keep it dry, and then your 7-day forecast, something for everyone. So tomorrow, pretty dry, fairly unsettled this weekend, and then a stronger front bringing us a big cool down for St. Patrick's Day and next Wednesday.
Thank you for letting me use my weather knowledge. You know, I used to do weather.
You sure did.
It's been a long time. All right, so you can keep track of all these changes on this app.
Absolutely. All you have to do is search WKMG in your app store.
All right, so police departments across Florida are getting ready for spring break. Ready or not, here it comes. And the Clearwater Police Department, they are using drones this year. And as Andy Payden from our CBS affiliate in Tampa tells us, the people who are on the beach, they support it.
If there's one thing you need to pack when heading to Clearwater Beach this spring break, it's patience.
It's packed, you can't find no parking.
Because these clear roads we're seeing today are far from what you can expect.
Yes, don't like it. Too many people, too much craziness.
In fact, it's becoming such a problem that Clearwater police are now seeking help from above, launching it and making it so the only flashing lights on these roads are ones that actually need to be there. And beachgoers tell me it's making them feel more inclined to pick this beach in the future.
Faster than first response, so yeah, it makes it a little safer.
In emergency situations, I think they would be very helpful.
People do get freaked out when they see drones on the beach.
You hear them too, yeah.
People are in their bathing suits.
But then I wonder, like, what are they looking at? Are they looking at sharks? What do they see?
Or, people in your bathing suit.
Who knows?
That weirds people out. So spring break, though, is our topic of the day. Take a look at the QR code at the bottom left of your screen. We'd love to hear, what are you doing for spring break? Let's take a look at what you're doing right now. We have a bunch of people weighing in. What are your plans for spring break? 34% staying at home, 34% doing absolutely
I feel like nothing and staying at home are the same answer.
Some people are visiting the attractions.
I'm going clubbing, personally.
You're going clubbing?
She's asked me to meet her at the discotheque.
Do you remember where the clubs are? I don't think that's going to happen.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I would avoid that club.
No spandex for you.
All right, we're going to move along now. Head to clickorlando.com, though, if you want to take part in that poll. A new lawsuit is being filed against an Orlando business owner who is already in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we told you last week a federal judge in Orlando froze the assets of a man accused of running a Ponzi scheme.
So News 6's Mike Valenti, he's been covering this story for us. Mike, good to see you. Is this the guy who was living a pretty lavish lifestyle?
Well, that's according to prosecutors. Remember, we were in court last week, as you said, Christopher Alexander Delgado, 34-year-old from Apopka, is charged with wire fraud and money laundering, accused of running a $328 million Ponzi scheme. Now, he's out on bond right now, about $1 million bond. This is us last week. You can see Delgado remaining pretty tight-lipped at the advice of his attorneys, I'm sure, not talking, maintaining his silence. But we're starting to hear from his alleged victims. They are speaking through court filings, specifically the one we're talking about today. It's a class action lawsuit. TNC Investing Corp, based out of Huntington, New York. They're kind of the stand-in in this class action. You actually only need one plaintiff, basically to represent a bunch of clients. And so the attorney, Scott Silver, who I spoke to earlier today, said that he's talked to countless investors that were affected by this, maybe about thousands of victims. But TNC going forward with this lawsuit, basically claiming that they were drawn to Goliath from the promise of safe and stable returns from cryptocurrency liquidity pools. Apparently, according to Scott Silver and prosecutors, there were no liquidity pools. Delgado and Goliath Ventures were just pocketing this money, according to prosecutors, spending on things like multi-million-dollar homes in Winter Park and Kissimmee.
A lot of red flags.
Yeah.
Watches and jewelry that we know are in Dubai right now. That was the center of the asset hearing last week when the judge froze it. But basically what TNC is saying is that they invested about $1.5 million with Goliath and that they only got about $200,000 in purported returns back. So that's about $1 million they're out of, according to their attorney.
$320 million.
That's a lot of money.
They had reeled in a lot of clients at some point. Huh?
Yeah, and he's facing some serious criminal repercussions.
Well, we know you will stay on top of it. And you are the king of the walk and talk. I've never seen somebody be able to like grill somebody, talk, and then the photographer's walking backwards. Brilliant job, as always.
Oh, we got to ask the question.
Yeah, I know you, and you do.
You do a great job of it.
Yeah, thank you. Well, a number of fast food companies are going viral for competitions, and they're having to let us know why their burgers are the best ones out there.
So the real battle, it's masking. We're going to have that for you coming up. We are continuing to follow breaking news from out of state. We told you at the top of the hour a gunman was killed after an active shooting incident at a synagogue just outside of Detroit. Local law enforcement says at least one person with a rifle drove a truck into the temple, which caught on fire as it was driving through the building. The shooter was killed in the truck, but officials would not say what he had died from exactly. Investigators are still working to identify the gunman. Officials say one of the security officers was hit by the truck and was taken to the hospital. That person is expected to be okay, and no one else was hurt in this. We are continuing to monitor this situation. We'll bring you updates on air and on clickorlando.com.
The heads of the big three fast food chains have all popped up on social media this month, pushing new burgers and a little friendly rivalry and snark. You may have seen this video making the rounds online. McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczinski taking a very small bite of his company's new Big Arch Burger and calling it the product.
It's a delicious product.
The cringeworthy clip went viral, drawing millions of views and even some playful trolling from rival CEOs. Burger King responded with its CEO taking an enthusiastic bite of a Whopper.
Only one thing missing. A napkin.
While Wendy's boss joked in a social media post that their Frosty machines always seem to work. Behind the memes, there's a real battle heating up as all three chains roll out new burgers and fight for customer attention. McDonald's has its Big Arch Burger, priced at almost $11. Burger King has a refreshed Whopper with new packaging and tastier mayo for just short of about $7. And Wendy's is pushing its new cheesy bacon cheeseburger for around $6.50. If those prices sound high, today they're the norm, but far off from what we were paying years ago. Back in 2013, the year Wendy's sunsetted its 99-cent menu, a Big Mac cost just $4.18 and a Whopper was just $3.25. Comparing them to today's prices, the former is up 77%, the latter 109%. As the price for fast food has outpaced inflation, the choice for customers is increasingly this: pay more for what used to be cheap or pay even more for a little extra. For Dollars and Cents, I'm Donovan Myrie.
I'm not paying $11 for a drive-through burger.
It's getting pricey,
I
that's
know.
for sure.
All right, we're getting ready for News 6 at 4.
That's right. We are following a lot of breaking news. NASA leaders just gave an update on when Artemis 2 will launch. Also coming up, we are hearing from Orlando City SC now that they have parted ways with their head coach. News 6 at 4 starts right now.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 4.
We are getting right to breaking news on News 6 at 4. Investigators say a suspect rammed a vehicle into a Detroit area synagogue. This happened at Temple Israel, which includes an early child care center and a school.
Investigators say after the car hit the building, security started shooting, killing the suspect. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has the details.
Smoke billowed from the roof of Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan, as dozens of police vehicles responded to reports of an active shooter.
At least one individual came to the temple. Security saw him, engaged him in gunfire.
Sheriff Michael Bouchard also told reporters law enforcement was already on alert for the possibility of anti-Semitic violence in light of the war in Iran.
There was no lack of preparation. In addition, all Jewish facilities in the area are going to have a lot of extra presence around it until we figure this out.
CBS News confirms the suspect is dead. According to authorities, the suspect, armed with a rifle, rammed a vehicle into the building, the crash sparking a fire.
The investigation will look at who the active shooter was, whether the active shooter was in touch with other individuals. We want to make sure this threat stream is contained, and how, when, and why this individual mobilized to violence.
West Bloomfield Public Schools went into lockdown. Jewish facilities in the area were urged to do the same. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And more breaking news. Police say one person is dead, 2 others are hurt in a shooting at Old Dominion University in coastal Virginia. The police chief says the gunman is also dead. Investigators say he started shooting inside the business school building this morning. The school's police chief says all 3 of the victims are affiliated with the school in Norfolk, but they did not release their names. University leaders say classes are canceled and all campus operations are suspended through tomorrow. And we are following more breaking news. NASA leaders just announced Artemis 2 is scheduled to launch to lunar orbit on April 1st.
Yeah, that is the first day of a 6-day launch window. Your Space Coast community correspondent James Barbero joins us now live with the new details. James.
Hi, Ginger and Lisa. So after 2 weeks of repairs of the Space Launch System back there at the Vehicle Assembly Building, NASA just told us that they fixed that issue they had with loading helium onto the rocket. And now they're thinking best case scenario, they'd like to roll the rocket back out to the launch pad next Thursday, the 19th, and then hopefully, and this is of course pending more work that still needs to be done, launch as early as April Fool's Day. The launch time NASA just said would be 6:24 at night. So if you're thinking about making plans already, there's your launch time. Let's listen to Norm Knight now, the Flight Operations Director, with more on what's at stake.
This is an exciting time for our entire flight operations team to fly humans around the moon for the first time in over 50 years, send them further than any humans since Apollo 13, and continue paving the road of human exploration to the moon and beyond. As always, our astronauts and their safety remain our top priority.
All right, and NASA said the astronauts are feeling great about this new time frame. The early April window runs until April the 6th. And more breaking news, NASA announced that they are also targeting, potentially if they need it, April 2nd as a backup launch window if they can't launch on April Fool's Day. Live in Brevard County, I'm your Space Coast community correspondent, James Sparvera, News 6.
All right, James, thank you. Of course, for all of these breaking news stories, we will keep you updated as soon as we get any new information here on News 6 and on clickorlando.com.
The Flagler County woman accused of giving birth, watching her baby die, and then burying the newborn in her backyard may be released from jail tonight. She was arrested last week in Palm Coast. Today, a judge gave her bond. We do want to warn you, the details of this case are pretty disturbing. Your Flagler County community correspondent Molly Reed was in court for that decision and learned more about her confession in this case.
The judge set bond at $250,000. Now, if Demigillo bonds out of here, she will have some strict rules to follow, like no contact with minors, and she has to wear a GPS tracking monitor. Now, in court today, we did hear more of her confession from a detective, but her defense team argued that even though what she might have done here was violent, she's not a threat to the community.
It was asked if she, at some point, if she had hoped that this was the outcome, the baby would have died. She said a little bit.
Detective Shannon Smith with the Flagler County Sheriff's Office is leading the case into 20-year-old Ann Mae Demigillo. Smith says on March 6th, Demigillo's friend asked deputies to do a welfare check after getting a text from Demigillo saying she had given birth. Investigators went to Demigillo's home then in Palm Coast.
She later advised that she had given birth, and then at some point she had walked them to the back side yard of her residence and pointed to a shallow grave.
But according to Detective Smith, Demigillo's admission didn't stop there. She told him she had the baby overnight on a toilet.
The baby was crying and was moving. The baby's head was downwards in the toilet, and she left it there as she was cleaning up the blood because she was concerned that her mother would find out what had happened.
Then investigators say Demigillo put the baby in a duffel bag in her closet and left for a college class and to perform in a play. She later buried the baby in the backyard when she got home. Detectives say the baby girl was 3 pounds 6 ounces and 19 inches long. The preliminary cause of death was drowning.
I did ask her if, knowing what she knew now during our interview, if she could go back 48 hours and change how she handled the outcome of this, if she would change it. She said she doesn't believe that she would.
Right now, she is charged with aggravated manslaughter, but prosecutors said today they're likely going to file more charges, including tampering with evidence. I'm your Flagler County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
Under Florida's safe haven law, a newborn can be surrendered at a fire station or hospital within 30 days, no questions asked. You can find Safe Haven and Baby Box locations along with a confidential hotline on our website, clickorlando.com.
Here is a live look at the 417 near Aloma in Orange County, and you can see the rain is really coming down out there right now in that spot.
Meteorologist Julie Broughton joins us now with how long we can expect this to last. Julie.
We're looking at probably the next 4 hours for Central Florida total, but that live look we just saw in Winter Park along the 417, that area is actually under a special weather statement because of these showers and storms producing some very gusty winds. So we're not talking about much lightning, but again, we are talking about heavy rain and winds at times in this white box, gusting to around 40 to 45 miles per hour. So that special weather statement is up until 4:45. Now, these showers are generally moving off to the northeast right around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So we'll track from the leading edge of these storms, taking them off to the northeast around 15 miles per hour. So on that path, the leading edge of this will move into University Park in the next 7 minutes and Azalea Park in the next 12 minutes. We can go in a little bit closer and show you where we're seeing some of that really intense activity. And this encompasses a large area in Osceola County as well as Orange County. So Dr. Phillips, you're seeing some heavy rain right now up toward Oak Ridge, Orla Vista, Gotha, Pine Hills, the Fair Villa area into Winter Park, seeing some pockets of heavy rain. Where you see the yellow and the orange, our radar at times has been indicating up to around 2 inches of rain or so falling per hour. This all is out ahead of a cold front, of course, and then we're still seeing some light to moderate rain from Palm Coast back through the villages. And all of this will continue to transition from northwest to southeast as we move through the day today, and then we'll see drier conditions rolling in as we head into our Friday. However, the same front that is bringing the rain today will ride back to the north this weekend, keeping our first weekend of spring break for much of Central Florida a little unsettled. We'll break all that down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Julie, thank you. Now that Orlando City SC is parting ways with their head coach, we are learning why he is leaving and what's next for the soccer team.
The Lions gave an update just a little while ago. News 6 Sports Director Jamie Say joins us now live from Inter & Co Stadium in Orlando. Jamie.
Ginger, Lisa, today Orlando City leadership acknowledged all that Oscar Pareja has done for the club. 6 consecutive playoff appearances and the most wins by a Lions head coach. But leadership also acknowledged differences of opinions in the state of the team and the style of play. And both sides agreed that it was time for new directions, but they part amicably, too. Today, I asked Orlando City General Manager Ricardo Moreira about what the Lions coaching search will look like now and whether they plan to hire someone before season's end. He said that right now, the club is getting behind interim head coach Martin Perelman, who will be considered for the permanent job. Despite the 0-3 start to the season and the coaching transition, Moreira indicated that this season is not a rebuild. He believes the club can improve and compete with the best.
The season has just started. We haven't played even 10% of the season yet. This is not lost season. We're still competing for 3 trophies. It was a difficult moment for everybody yesterday. Again, we honor Oscar. We honor the past. We acknowledge the pain. We acknowledge the difficulty or the difficult day that we had yesterday. But now we're looking at the future. They're players. They know that they have to react.
Moreira also indicated that he and Oscar had been discussing the future for a while now and decided yesterday was the right time to part ways. Moreira also accepted some responsibility for the 0-3 start, but there are 31 regular season matches to go in the MLS season, so it's just begun. And that starts tomorrow. Orlando City hosts Montreal right here at 7:30. Live at Inter & Co Stadium in downtown Orlando, I'm Jamie Say, News 6. Ladies, back to you.
All right, Jamie, thank you. The drama from the Apopka mayor's race has partially centered on a legal challenge against one of the candidates, but that is no longer an issue. News 6 anchor Matt Austin is live in the newsroom. And Matt, you've learned that lawsuit has now been dropped.
That's right. And this week, 2 candidates defeated the incumbent mayor of Apopka. One day after getting third in the election, Brian Nelson's attorneys dropped that lawsuit against Orange County Commissioner Christine Moore. I confirmed with the attorneys for Moore and Nelson that yesterday the lawsuit was voluntarily dismissed. Nelson has claimed Moore has not lived in Apopka long enough to run for mayor. That was the lawsuit, the basis for it anyway. In Tuesday's election, though, former City Commissioner Nick Nesta grabbed 42% of the votes. Moore came in second with 32%. I spoke with Moore's attorney, Christian Waugh. He says, quote, Commissioner Moore appreciates Mayor Nelson's service to the city by dismissing this lawsuit. I believe it represents the will of the Apopka voters. Since no candidate was able to get 50% of the vote, Nesta and Moore will compete in a runoff election on April 14th. Of course, we'll let you know how it shakes out. Ladies.
All right, Matt, thank you. A homeowner reached out through the News 6 Neighborhood Network about a possible six-figure sewer bill.
Now the county is backing off threats and talking financial help. What you need to know coming up.
Please remember this is a small town and we like our small businesses here.
Another downtown Winter Garden small business is closing. This time, they say rent would nearly triple. What this means for the future of that Main Street charm. You're watching News 6 at 4 as we take another live look at the 417 near Aloma in Orange County. We'll be right back.
What's up, insiders? This week on Everyday Wild, we found monkeys at Silver Springs State Park. We found the loop where there might be monkeys. Thanks to Kara, because I would have gotten us lost. Go to clickorlando.com/insider to see the full video now. Signing up to be an insider is free, easy, and the only way you can keep up with our adventures throughout Central Florida.
And don't forget to nominate your favorite teacher for the News 6 Educator of the Week Award, sponsored by Osborne Francis and Pettis Law Firm.
We have seen small business after small business announce that it would be closing in downtown Winter Garden. I'm News 6's Tylisa Hampton. This bookstore right over here recently announced that it would be soon closing its doors, only it would be for a different reason, but still a heartbreaking one.
$64.50. As people browse, they're exploring their next read.
I really believe in supporting small businesses.
But after 5 years, the life of this charming bookstore in downtown Winter Garden is coming to a close next month.
I'd like to see them flourish, and when I see them get canceled like this, it just makes me really sad. And
Writer's Block Bookstore notes that after many changes in the area, their lease is ending because the rent would nearly triple, pricing them out despite not having a new landlord.
We've experienced a lot of loss in Winter Garden, and just several of my favorite places, to be honest with you. So I just heard about this one just a day or two ago, and it just makes me really sad.
As downtown Winter Garden has become a hot real estate market, multiple small businesses have announced closures after new landlords bought their buildings, raising concerns about the future of the once unique small town downtown.
Small businesses aren't just a storefront, they're families and employees.
What do you think will become of this area? I know it's seen a lot of changes with the small businesses.
You know, I'm nervous about it.
Because each book that people grab at this bookstore, they say represents so much more.
They're good people, they're hardworking people, honest people.
The warm, inviting space attracting out-of-state tourists.
Sad because we have mom and pop bookstores around us, and they're better than other bigger ones.
We have reached out to the current company that owns the building the bookstore is in and are waiting to hear back. Book shoppers hoping what comes next is not a drastic shift.
Please remember this is a small town and we like our small businesses here.
And we're told they're still looking at all of the options to help those customers who have a passion for books. Reporting for News 6, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
Meantime, downtown Orlando has seen a lot of businesses closing over the past few years. Now, the Halloween bar is closing after 6 years. The owners, with Cocktails and Screams, say the added fees from the city of Orlando made it impossible for them to keep their doors open. In 2023, the city passed an ordinance requiring bars to pay for police protection and an after-midnight alcohol sales permit. It was in response to recent crime, including a shooting on Halloween. The last day for Cocktails and Screams will be March 20th.
All right, we're going to get over to meteorologist Julie Broughton now, who is standing by, tracking some rain on the radar right now. Quite a bit of much needed rain out there, Julie.
Yes, and this is all out ahead of a cold front that will bring us some cooler, drier weather for tomorrow. But we are seeing some stronger storms. Now notice not a lot of lightning, but what we are seeing is some gusty winds. So this area you see shaded in white, that encompasses parts of Orange, Osceola, as well as Brevard and Volusia counties. That's where we have a special weather statement that is up until 4:45. Let's go in a little bit closer and show you where we're seeing some of the more intense activity right now. So we are talking about heavy rain and gusty winds right on top of Orlando, back toward Conway, Oak Ridge, Dr. Phillips, all seeing some of this. And this is all moving to the northeast right around 10 to 15 miles per hour. So as we track from the leading edge of the most intense activity and take that out to about 15 miles per hour, we can see where this is moving. So this is moving into some areas that aren't super heavily incorporated. But again, Azalea Park, you're seeing some of this, Pine Hills, some of the heavier activity moving out of your area. But as we pull out a little bit wider, you can see more rain stretching from parts of Flagler and Volusia County back down into northern Lake County. The Villages also seeing some pockets of heavy rain. That is tracking toward DeLand, again back toward Umatilla, Fruitland Park, the Villages, Leesburg, all seeing some pockets of heavy rain. And remember, we're talking about winds gusting to around 40, 45 miles per hour at times, and some of these heavier showers back toward Bushnell, seeing some light to moderate rain, and all this happening right around that afternoon drive time. And we are keeping showers in the forecast for about the next 4 hours or so as that front pushes through central Florida. Here's what it looks like for you right now. This is our Daytona Beach sky cam. If you were with us yesterday, I said the beach is going to look a whole lot different tomorrow at this time, and we're seeing those dark skies, rain cooled air, 69 degrees, and the winds out of the northwest showing that front has already pushed push through the Daytona Beach area. Now, ahead of this, we actually hit a record in Orlando, 90 degrees today. Previous record was 89, and you can tell very easily where that front has already dropped to the south. 65 in Ocala, 64 in Wildwood. We are seeing winds up to around 30 miles per hour at times as this front moves through. Now, here's your hour-by-hour forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Renewal by Anderson.
If you are not currently looking at the TV, you need to do so. This is Maddie. She's a rescue. She's at Chowini. She's so cute. She's smiling for us. 78 degrees at 7 o'clock. 8 o'clock, I think the rain will be clearing Brevard County, so most of us will be drying out by then. As we take you through the rest of the evening hours, again by 6 o'clock, the heavier activity moving into much of Brevard County. Then we get that front to our south, and we'll see a fairly dry day for our Friday. But again, most of Central Florida starting spring break tomorrow. We're looking at an unsettled weekend, not a washout, but the same front that's coming through right now rides back to the north, keeping things unsettled. A stronger front comes through on Monday, bringing a 70% chance of showers, then a big time cool down for Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, Julie, thank you. A Florida voting bill is moving forward, and it would require proof of citizenship and changes to your driver's license.
Coming up, why some lawmakers are concerned this could leave students and seniors who don't drive out of the voting process. Floridians may soon have to provide proof of U.S. citizenship to cast a ballot in the state.
The Florida Senate approved a bill today that would require voters to verify their citizenship. As part of the move, the Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles would have to note whether someone is a citizen on any driver's license or state ID. Supporters of the bill argue there are not enough checks to prove citizenship before a ballot is cast. Democrats feel the legislation would create obstacles for students and seniors who may not have a driver's license. The bill rejects the ability to use a student or retirement community ID to vote.
Right now, there's just challenges in identifying people when they come with varying identification cards. This streamlines it and makes it easier for poll workers to verify identities at the polls.
We all, both Democrats and Republicans, should be encouraging students to take a part of the democratic process and to vote, and this is going to have a chilling effect.
The House is expected to take up the bill before the end of the legislative session tomorrow. If signed into law, the bill would not take effect until January of 2027 after the midterm elections. Meantime, in Washington, D.C., Republican lawmakers have been pushing to pass the SAVE Act. It has already passed the U.S. House, but so far it does not have enough votes in the Senate. Similar to the Florida bill, this bill would require Americans to present proof of citizenship when they register to vote, like a birth certificate or a passport. You would also have to show a valid photo ID before casting a ballot. In a post, President Trump said he will not sign any other bills until the SAVE Act is passed.
A teen is recovering after a hit-and-run crash involving a teacher from his own school.
My back hurts. My arm does this weird thing where it locks in place and I start shaking really bad.
His back is still braced, his life on hold, and the man accused of hitting him is still employed at his school. What the family wants now.
Just a few days after I told a story about staggering costs for homeowners trying to connect their septic tank systems to a sewer line, the homeowners say they have a win in their fight against the county. I'll share the update.
Welcome back. We're following breaking news right now. Investigators say a suspect rammed a car into a Detroit area synagogue.
It happened at Temple Israel, which includes an early child care center and a school. Investigators say after the car hit the building, security started shooting, killing the suspect. Nearby public schools went into lockdown, and Jewish facilities in the area were urged to do the same. The Flagler County woman accused of giving birth, watching her infant die, then burying the baby in her backyard is expected to walk out of jail in just a few hours. 20-year-old Ann Mae DiMaggio was arrested last week in Palm Coast. Earlier today, a judge granted her bond. Right now, she is facing an aggravated manslaughter charge. NASA leaders just announced Artemis 2 is scheduled to launch to lunar orbit on April 1st. The launch window is open until April 6th.
Well, have you heard about the News 6 Neighborhood Network? It's our newest way for you to get help with the issues affecting you and your neighbors right down to your own street. Just click on Contact Us on our website, clickorlando.com. Just last week, a Brevard County homeowner contacted us to get off the hook for staggering costs to connect her septic tank system to a sewer line. Your Port St. John community correspondent James Sparvero put a spotlight on the plight of those neighbors, and now the county is taking back threats to fine homeowners and is even offering to help pay for the conversions.
A week after I reported that homeowners on that side of Fay Boulevard could have to spend up to $100,000 to connect to the sewer line on this side of the 4-lane divided highway, Brevard County just mailed homeowners a new letter that no longer threatens to fine them or restrict services if they don't make the long connection in the next year. While it's still the law to get homes off septic tanks, which the county says is better for the environment, it is not the county's intent to impose an unreasonable financial burden on property owners based on the costs currently being quoted. So you must live on the happiest street in Brevard County now. My coverage of what was going to be a huge burden for homeowners started when Rosemary Augustine contacted me through the News 6 Neighborhood Network.
We're talking $60,000 to $100,000 per homeowner.
After our initial interview ran, now the county says it will, quote, explore potential grant funding and other financial assistance opportunities that may help offset connection costs for property owners in the future.
There's some older homes on Fay. I don't know if the home values are even worth what it would cost to connect.
That was local plumber Jeff Rice's opinion when I asked him last week about the project. Rosemary had told me she only qualified for a $12,000 grant through the county's Save Our Indian River Lagoon program.
Not even 3 years ago, I had a brand new septic system for $10,000. For me to have to lay out additional monies, that's a little bit of a stretch.
Rosemary says she'd still like to see the county bring the connection to her side of the street, and I've been meaning to ask the county if it will do that. But like last week, no one wanted to be interviewed for this update either. There's no time frame when homeowners might get more financial assistance, so I'll continue to stay on top of this story to tell you what happens next. In Brevard County, I'm your Port St. John community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Again, someone reached out to the News 6 Neighborhood Network about the switch from septic to sewer. So how can News 6 get results for you? Go to the News 6 app or clickorlando.com and click Contact Us and let us know how we can help. A 16-year-old is recovering from a broken back. Investigators say a teacher at his school hit him while the teen was riding his e-scooter, and then that teacher just took off. Now, months later, the teacher has been arrested. Your Orange County community correspondent Troy Campbell spoke with the teen about his injuries.
He did hit me. I'd assume noticed and then sped away.
Several months after the crash, 16-year-old Landon Cates is still wearing a brace, suffering from a broken back.
Ever since then, I've been stuck at home. It's been hard to do schoolwork. My back hurts. Like my arm does this weird thing where it like locks in place and I start shaking really bad. My back hurts pretty bad too.
Seminole County investigators say back on the morning of December 11th, 49-year-old Winter Park High School teacher Benjamin Fotler struck Cates on his e-scooter with his vehicle. Here's a photo of Fotler from last year's yearbook at Winter Park High School. Detectives say he didn't stop at the scene because he thought he hit a traffic sign in the median. Detectives say Fotler told them that he was right here at Castleton Drive, turning left onto 436 when the light turned green. So he entered the intersection thinking he hit a sign in the median. Landon tells us he waited until the light was green for him to enter into the intersection. He says moments later, he was hit by that vehicle. What is it like hearing that the person who hit you says that they thought you were a traffic sign in the center median?
Well, I mean, I hold that with a grain of salt. Maybe he did think, but like, who knows? I don't want to be too rude to the guy. I mean, he did hit me.
Investigators also say Fottler's daughter was in the vehicle at the time, and following the crash, he went on to drop her off at daycare.
I would think he has a daughter, so he must be a caring father. So I feel like, how would you feel if like your daughter just got hit out of nowhere? Like, wouldn't you be upset?
The state attorney's office says Fottler was initially issued citations for the crash, but after reviewing it, it was determined the citations were issued in error due to the severity of the victim's injuries, adding Fottler should have been arrested at the time of contact. He was booked into the Seminole County Jail on Tuesday on a charge of leaving the scene of a crash. Orange County Public Schools says Fottler is a teacher in the district and said the incident is, quote, unrelated to school. Landon's mother, Callista Cates, says she's concerned for her child to return to the same school where Fottler is employed.
I've called the school plenty of times and been like, hey, this is what happened to my kid. This is why he's not there. It was a teacher at the school, this, that, and the other, and they're just like, okay, well, I don't know what to do with that.
Troy Campbell, News 6.
Now, the Cates family even says that they have been forced to move. The family says they relocated because they didn't feel comfortable once they found out Fottler lived in their neighborhood.
Today, Iran's state-run TV read a message attributed to the new supreme leader. He vowed to continue to block the Strait of Hormuz and target other Gulf nations supporting the United States. Iran continues to target oil tankers in the strait, which is a key waterway for the global export of crude oil. Some lawmakers continue to raise concerns about Operation Epic Fury and the bombing of an Iranian girls' school. A CBS News source says a preliminary assessment suggests the U.S. was likely responsible.
Can you guess how we could have gotten this wrong in Iran and targeted a children's school?
Ma'am, I would hesitate to speculate with any incident like this. There's, I would just say there's usually a chain of errors and mistakes that happen similar to an aviation accident or some other transportation accident. And I would say we just need to let the investigation play out and find all those factors.
Sources say the strike was possibly due to dated intelligence that wrongly identified the school as part of an Iranian military installation. Overnight, the price of gas in Florida went up again, but for the first time in days, it increased by just 2 cents. AAA shows the average gas price in Florida is now $3.72 a gallon. In Central Florida, the average is more than $3.75, with $3.77 a gallon. In Orange County, the national average is $3.60 a gallon. And with gas prices rising, it is impacting rideshare services. Your Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton, spoke with multiple drivers about how those prices are hurting their jobs.
With gas prices steadily going up, I spoke with rideshare drivers in this parking lot. They tell me they're feeling that dreadful phrase, pain at the pump.
Because right now you have to spend more money on gas to travel, work, and everything.
With more money going towards the gas tank, rideshare drivers are feeling every pinch.
Yeah, I feel it every day.
Every penny you're spending, now you have to add it or to budget. Because you're spending more now, you got to cut bills somehow.
AAA reports the national average of a gallon of regular gasoline has jumped nearly 35 cents since last week. It's a steady trend since the war in the Middle East.
When you're in war, everything is changing. Rent go up, gas go up, food go up.
And before rideshare drivers even select their ride, they're all looking closer on the gas meter.
Before I have to fill my tank, $35 because I have a Camry. Right now it costs me $55.
Before it's maybe $38, $35, and now it's a $52.
Many drivers with Uber and Lyft being selective on which routes they choose.
Because Uber can tell you it's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, which is almost 15 minutes for $4. And they don't count the traffic, they don't count the traffic lights.
Even those who own their own driving business feeling the weight of every penny.
I used to do like $100. Now I have to charge them $120 to make up for my gas, my time, because, and that's the only way it will work.
Experts say it will get worse before it gets better. Drivers hoping the price won't crush them.
The customer suffered, the driver suffered.
And those rideshare drivers, they tell me, hopefully those gas prices start to go down so business can go back to normal. Reporting for News 6, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
In just hours, a landmark movie theater is going dark for good.
Developers are eyeing a big makeover, but coming up, a legal roadblock could decide everything.
If you're buying a car from a private seller, listen up. I'm News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden. A Marion County couple is out of tens of thousands of dollars after buying a car on Facebook Marketplace. Turns out the seller sold them a stolen truck. And it happens more than you might think. The story coming up.
I'm tracking a cold front bringing some much needed rain to Central Florida. Coming up, I'll tell you when this rain clears this evening, and we'll take a look ahead to your weekend.
If you're planning on buying a car from a private seller, listen up. I'm News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden. A Marion County couple is out of tens of thousands of dollars after buying a car on Facebook Marketplace. Turns out the seller sold them a stolen truck. If you think it's uncommon, think again. Our investigation found it is so common, it has a name.
Oh, it's horrible. I cried for probably 3 days straight.
Alexis McBlain and her husband used to flip vehicles, so they're not rookies to buying things off Facebook Marketplace.
I mean, we probably bought, I don't know, 20, 30 vehicles on Facebook. We sell houses on Facebook. We sell furniture, everything.
So when they saw this ad for a 2022 Chevy Silverado, they contacted the seller. McBlain sent her father to meet the seller and inspect the vehicle. He shot this video and everything looked good. So they withdrew nearly $30,000 in cash and met the seller again to buy it.
My husband checked all the VINs, make sure everything matched the title. The guy showed us his ID, signed the title in front of us, everything was good.
But it wasn't. The title was fake and the VIN number was fake. Investigators later found the truck the crooks took the VIN from was out of Virginia, but the truck the McBlains had was stolen out of Texas. So investigators confiscated it. Now they're out of the money and the vehicle. Investigators call it a clone car.
Criminals will take those VIN numbers and replace them with VIN numbers off of other vehicles that have like a clean title or maybe registered in a different state, and then they'll try to either resell the car or export the car out of the country.
Lieutenant Paul Volkerson works in the auto theft division at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. He says his department confiscates around 30 to 40 clone cars a year. That's in Orange County alone.
That is fraudulent VIN number right there.
How do they even get to that?
So in order to get this out, they'll pop the windshield out. Usually the suspects will pop the windshield out, remove the true vehicle identification number plate, put the fraudulent one in, put the windshield back on, and then it makes it even harder to tell that it was removed and replaced.
Lieutenant Volkerson says it's hard to spot the fakes because the crooks also change the sticker in the door that has the VIN.
But the general public is not going to look at this, think it looks anything different than the manufacturer one.
When buying a used car, Volkerson says dig into the vehicle's history through Carfax, the National Insurance Crime Bureau, or the DMV.
You can always call our auto theft unit, bring the vehicle down here, do the transaction here in the parking lot, have the auto theft unit look at the car, and they can tell you if there's any discrepancies with the VIN number then.
I think that would have deterred the bad guy.
It's been a lot. Financially straining, mentally straining. I mean, it's just been a lot.
Lewis Bolden, News 6.
I'm still fascinated by removing the entire windshield to
crazy.
make that process happen. Yeah, it is.
All right, we want to check in now with meteorologist Julie Broughton. Spring break really starting kind of tonight for so many families across Central Florida, and we're starting off on a wet note tonight, Julie.
Yeah, we have a mixed bag for spring break. So we're dealing with some showers now. The same system will keep us unsettled throughout the weekend. We're not talking about a washout, but just be mindful that you will see some showers. And then a stronger system on Monday cools us down for Tuesday and Wednesday. Of course, you can keep up with all the changes on our free News 6 weather app. Search WKMG in your app store. Radar scanning out showing all of these showers are out ahead of a cold front that is moving through Central Florida right now. And we have seen some gusty winds in Playa Linda Beach. We recorded a wind gust of 43 miles per hour near the Four Corners area down toward Champions Gate. Seen some very heavy rain, a little bit of lightning in there. You'll notice tracking only about 3 lightning strikes in that last scan, so not a ton of lightning. Wewahoti seeing some heavier rain that stretches back down toward Harmony as well. Halapaw, this is moving into your area. Then back across our northern counties up toward DeLand, Deltona, Altamont Springs, all seeing moderate rainfall. And again, all of these showers are tracking toward the coast along with that front. Right now it's 4:48. I think most of us will be in the clear by around 8 o'clock. Here's how that looks on our clouds and rain forecast. Here is our front. As we head into the 5 o'clock hour, again, the model's been pretty on track with the timing of where these showers have been developing. So we'll see showers moving down to Rockledge and Satellite Beach by around 6 o'clock, down toward Palm Bay. So right along I-95, we're looking at the potential of some pockets of heavy rain during the afternoon drive time, which is happening now. And we get that front to our south. And most of those showers will exit Brevard County by around 8 o'clock or so. Then through the day tomorrow, I think we'll see fairly low rain chances, around 20% or so. Now we get new drought numbers every Thursday morning. So the new drought monitor, again, showing all of us are dealing with those drought conditions. So this is much needed rain. Certainly won't be drought busting rain, but it can't hurt the situation. Launch credit union camera out there at Cape Canaveral showing clouds in the sky, 88 degrees with winds gusting to around 18 miles per hour. Halapaw, you're at 84 degrees right now, and you can see where we've seen some rain and that front's moved through. We're at 68 in Mount Dora, 65 right now in Reddick, and also 65 in Ocala. Hour by hour forecast featuring our friends Blizzard and Biscuit. I'd love to meet them in person. I see them, they pin their pictures all the time. 78 at 7 o'clock and 75 at 8 o'clock, of course, as the front goes through. Some of you will be cooler than that. 7-day forecast again. The same front rides back north and stalls out this weekend. Not a washout this weekend, but we are talking about elevated rain chances and then a stronger front bringing us a big time cool down for Tuesday and Wednesday with highs only in the 60s.
All right, Julie, thank you. Well, picture this. You've just been in a crash. You're rattled and waiting for help.
Our traffic safety expert explains what you need to know when the tow truck arrives. That's next.
Can a tow truck show up and solicit their business at the scene of a crash? So if you've ever been in a crash, you know it could be pretty overwhelming. Your adrenaline is up, traffic's moving around you, and the last thing you want is someone adding more pressure. The answer, no. So Florida statute 715.07, different outside the traffic one, makes it illegal for a tow truck driver to solicit towing services at the scene of a crash unless they were specifically requested by the vehicle owner, law enforcement, or dispatch through some type of rotation system. So this law exists simply to protect you during a stressful moment. So if someone rolls up and starts pushing you to let them tow your vehicle, you are within absolutely in your rights to say no. The best thing you can do is basically take a breath, talking with responding officers, and make it clear decision about who you want handling your vehicle. In a moment like this, the last thing you need is a little pressure, and Florida law is there to protect you. If you have a traffic safety question you want me to answer it, head on over to clickorlando.com/AskTrooperSteve.
In just a few hours, another Central Florida business will be fading to black.
Yeah, today the theater at the Fashion Square Mall is holding its final showings. Leaders with Premier Cinema 14 say they are shutting down while the mall prepares for its next phase of development. As for what that will be, the company that owns the land has plans for a big mixed-use development. But a fight with the bank over the foreclosed buildings on the property has held things up.
The cost to upkeep it is substantially higher than the income they're generating. Eventually, I think they're going to want to just hand us the keys and let us do something different with the property.
Now, leaders say if a deal is reached, the area could eventually see outdoor dining, new retail, and entertainment options. We reached out to the bank that owns the buildings for comment, but have not heard back yet. Tonight's final movie showing starts at 8:30. News 6 at 5 is next.
Anchor Matt Austin is in the newsroom with what's ahead.
We are continuing to cover breaking news in Michigan and Virginia, where we're learning more information about two shooting situations, plus a mom of 16 injured during Bike Week, how the community is pulling together to try to help her on her road to recovery. And after a man was arrested in a huge Ponzi scheme investigation, the company at the center of the allegations facing new lawsuits tonight. Community correspondent Mike Valenti is looking into that case. And your forecast is only minutes away. Don't forget, you can stream all of our newscasts and live cameras like this look at Daytona Beach for free anytime on News 6 Plus. Coming up, we have a look at your forecast, where the rain is hitting today, and if we could see some more coming up for your weekend. We'll be right back. Right now at 5, panic in a Michigan community after an attack at a synagogue. A suspect is dead, but the investigation is just beginning. What we're learning.
I think the doctor said 6 weeks each part that's broken. They said she can't have weight on her legs for about 8 weeks, but she can't walk for like 5.
Plus a mom of 16 recovering after a crash during Bike Week. We spoke with her daughter as we get an update on her condition.
It was asked if she, at some point, if she had hoped that this was the outcome, the baby would have died. She said a little bit.
A woman accused of letting her newborn die, then burying it, now has a chance to get out of jail. What she'd have to pay to go home. You're watching News 6 at 5. And we begin at 5 with some rain on the radar.
Meteorologist Jonathan Kagis is walking us through what we should be keeping an eye on tonight, Jonathan.
Yeah, some much needed rain coming through. It's not going to bust a drought, of course. We talked about this yesterday, but right on schedule tonight. So if you're getting ready to leave work or on your way home from work, we are watching the rain move through the I-4 corridor. It's steady. It's not too terribly heavy. We do have a couple of embedded downpours, a few lightning strikes earlier, just a couple of lightning strikes being picked up, which is obviously a good thing because we do not want the lightning to ignite anything that's out there. Some nice steady rain coming in Deltona, back to Orange City as well. We'll zoom you back out, take you to East Orange County, where you see the darker red there on the radar. There's nothing strong, there's nothing severe out there, but certainly some heavier rain moving out of Harmony, eventually heading towards us in Rockledge, into Bonaventure, Cocoa in the next 20 to 25 minutes or so as this heads towards the Space Coast. And then just some lighter stuff as we head back to us into Lake County, Claremont, back to Bushnell, some very light rain tonight. In the next couple of hours, we're going to get rid of this. It's all because of a cold front that is going to take our temperatures down a little bit tomorrow. Bigger cold front on the way by next week. We're going to pinpoint that part of your forecast, guys, coming up at about 5:17.
Jonathan, thank you. Let's get you to some breaking news out of Michigan near Detroit. The Oakland County Sheriff's Office investigating an intense situation at a synagogue.
The sheriff says a suspect is dead, and thankfully there are no other victims. He says the suspect rammed a truck into the synagogue and was confronted by security. The suspect then drove through the doors of the building and down a hallway.
Security then opened fire. There was a school inside the synagogue. No students or staff were injured. One of the security guards was knocked unconscious, but is expected to be okay. Right now, investigators are looking into whether the shooter acted alone.
At least one individual came to the temple. Security saw him, engaged him in gunfire. The scene, we're not getting any active stimulus at the moment. We have everything here that we need, including, medics and tactical gear. We're looking to see if there's more than one person. We're still trying to figure that out.
The sheriff says the county has a training program that works on active shooter and counterterrorism. He credits that training to stopping the situation before it got worse. We'll continue to monitor this and get you the latest on air and online at clickorlando.com.
We're also learning more about a gunman who shot and killed one person and wounded two others at Old Dominion University in Virginia. According to CBS News, the suspect has been identified as Mohammed Baylor Jalloh and had previously been imprisoned for trying to support ISIS. Jalloh was a former Virginia National Guardsman who pleaded guilty to providing support to ISIS in 2016. He was sentenced to 11 years but released early in 2024. Officials say Jalloh walked into a classroom, asked if it was an ROTC class, then opened fire, killing the instructor, who was a retired Army officer. Two others are hospitalized and in stable condition. Tonight, a Sanford family is leaning on their community. A local restaurant owner seriously hurt in a motorcycle crash during Bike Week in Daytona last week.
Her daughter says the night it happened left her and her siblings in tears, and now their mom faces a long and painful road to recovery. But as News 6's Darrell Baker shows us, the community is rallying around her.
Me and my sister who was here, we FaceTimed each other, and both of our faces are swollen because we've been crying all night.
It was a night Shadiq Muhammad and her 15 siblings say they'll never forget. Their mother, Chantel Williams, the heart of their family, was seriously injured March 4th after being hit on her motorcycle during Bike Week in Daytona Beach.
She has 2 plates in each shoulder, 2 rods in her right arm, and 1 rod in her left. They couldn't do anything about the shattered breastplate or the pelvis.
The beloved Sanford restaurant owner survived, but her recovery will be a long one.
I think the doctor said 6 weeks each part that's broken. or something. They said she can't have weight on her legs for about 8 weeks.
Now her family is turning to the community, launching a GoFundMe to help cover her medical stay. Muhammad says the support so far has been overwhelming.
I mean, I knew she was loved, just not how much. Not how much, yeah. We had one like, I think 60 bikers here in one day. It was overwhelming.
We reached out to Daytona Beach police about the crash, and we're waiting to hear back. In Sanford, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
So we're getting a better idea of just how many bikers were hurt during this year's Bike Week in Daytona Beach. Halifax Health is reporting there were 75 motorcycle crashes during the 10-day event that wrapped up on Sunday. That's up slightly from 73 last year. 3 people were killed in crashes. None of them were wearing helmets. The number of people admitted to the hospital was actually down slightly, with 51 Bike Week-related admissions this year compared to 57 last year.
Breaking right now, the woman accused of giving birth, watching her infant die, then burying the newborn in her backyard is set to walk out of jail. Earlier today, a judge set bond at $250,000 for 20-year-old Ann May DiMaggio. Her defense team saying that while what she is accused of doing is violent, she is not a danger to the community. We are keeping a close eye on the jail doors there. We'll let you know as soon as she walks out. Now, DiMaggio was arrested last week in Palm Coast. We want to warn you, the details in this case are disturbing. Your Flagler County community correspondent Molly Reed was in court when she was granted bond earlier and learned more about her confession.
The judge set bond at $250,000. Now, if DiMaggio bonds out of here, she will have some strict rules to follow, like no contact with minors, and she has to wear a GPS tracking monitor. Now, in court today, we did hear more of her confession from a detective, but her defense team argued that even though what she might have done here was violent, she's not a threat to the community.
It was asked if she, at some point, if she had hoped that this was the outcome, the baby would have died. She said a little bit.
Detective Shannon Smith with the Flagler County Sheriff's Office is leading the case into 20-year-old Ann May DiMaggio. Smith says on March 6th, DiMaggio's friend asked deputies to do a welfare check after getting a text from DiMaggio saying she had given birth. Investigators went to DiMaggio's home then in Palm Coast.
She later advised that she had given birth, and then at some point she had walked them to the back side yard of her residence and pointed to a shallow grave.
But according to Detective Smith, DiMaggio's admission didn't stop there. She told him she had the baby overnight on a toilet.
The baby was crying and was moving. The baby's head was downwards in the toilet, and she left it there as she was cleaning up the blood because she was concerned that her mother would find out what had happened.
Then investigators say DiMaggio put the baby in a duffel bag in her closet and left for a college class and to perform in a play. She later buried the baby in the backyard when she got home. Detectives say the baby girl was 3 pounds 6 ounces and 19 inches long. The preliminary cause of death was drowning.
I did ask her if, knowing what she knew now during our interview, if she could go back 48 hours and change how she handled the outcome of this, if she would change it. She said she doesn't believe that she would.
Right now, she is charged with aggravated manslaughter, but prosecutors said today they're likely going to file more charges, including tampering with evidence. I'm your Flagler County community correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
In Brevard County, police in Palm Bay say the man you're about to see right here gravely injured another person while blowing nearly double the legal limit into a breathalyzer. At the scene, police say all he wanted to know was who was going to pay for the damage to his vehicle. This all happened Tuesday night. Palm Bay police say Daniel Davis hit someone standing outside a disabled vehicle. A person was found in the middle of the road with life-threatening injuries. When officers caught up to Davis, he asked if the person he just hit would be paying for the damage it caused to his windshield. Davis had a first appearance today where a judge gave him a $450,000 bond and expressed concern.
Mr. Davis, these are not only highly concerning facts that are reported by law enforcement, but we have a person who is allegedly injured as a result of this conduct, and I've noticed that you have 4 prior DUI convictions in your record. And so as a judge, I have to have extreme concern for the safety of the community.
Now, Davis says he does not remember those other DUIs. In this recent incident, he is facing DUI with serious injury.
The Central Florida man accused of running a more than $300 million Ponzi scheme is now facing a class action lawsuit. That suit filed in the Southern District of Florida yesterday against 34-year-old Christopher Delgado and his now defunct business, Goliath Ventures. Your Orange County community correspondent Mike Valenti joins us now from the newsroom. And Mike, you were just in federal court for a criminal hearing for Delgado last week, and there were investors of Delgado's present.
Yeah, Lisa, that's right. There were investors inside the courtroom. I met a couple of them who say they lost money because of Delgado and Goliath Ventures. They did not want to talk, and that's why today's lawsuit is so significant. We're gleaning more information through this complaint filed by the plaintiff, TNC Investing Corp.
Anything you want to say after today's hearing, Mr. Delgado?
No comment today. Thank you, guys.
Charged with wire fraud and money laundering,
Do you anticipate talking one day?
Christopher Delgado has maintained his silence.
This is a fraud.
But Delgado's alleged victims are starting to speak out through court filings.
Early indications is that there were thousands of investors in this program.
Attorney Scott Silver is representing one of those investors, TNC Investing Corp. Out of Huntington, New York, a corporation that he says was drawn to Goliath through a promise of safe and stable returns from cryptocurrency liquidity pools.
This was a very substantial amount of money to TNC and is having a huge impact on their financial resources.
Silver says TNC invested more than $1 million in Goliath, but to date has received payments of a little more than $200,000 in purported returns.
The one thing that seems to be a certainty in this case is that there was no crypto liquidity pools. Delgado was not in that business, making money from that business. It seems that most of the money that was being distributed here was new investor money going out to old investors.
On Goliath Ventures' YouTube page, that is still active, Delgado pitched himself to new investors, including retirees.
And this is a new avenue for us.
So again, this is a class action lawsuit alleging fraud, and Scott Silver says he's been in contact with countless other investors. We'll see if any of them decide to speak in the future. Matt?
Mike Valenti, thank you. We now have a clearer picture on when the Artemis II launch could happen.
NASA providing a major update today. Next at 5, your Brevard County community correspondent James Sparvero has been following this and has more on the new day they are eyeing for takeoff. Then later.
I'm News 6 investigator and business analyst Donovan Myrie.
The moment of truth.
Fast food CEOs are going viral with burger bragging and snarky posts.
Our machines are always working.
But behind the memes are sky-high prices. What will your next drive-thru order really cost you? I'll have that story coming up.
You're watching News 6 at 5 as we take a live look at Port Canaveral from our Launch Credit Union cam. We'll be right back.
Hey, some big news from the Space Coast today. NASA got a new launch date. Hopefully this one sticks. It's its first human mission to the moon in more than 50 years.
So Artemis 2 could have lifted off a month ago, but technical problems put the Space Launch System rocket back in the shop. Your Cape Canaveral community correspondent James Sparvero has more on the new report from NASA that says it has fixed the rocket.
All the teams polled go to launch and fly Artemis 2.
2 weeks since NASA rolled back the Space Launch System from its launch pad and into the vehicle assembly building for repairs. NASA says it's now fixed the moon rocket's problem with loading helium, and the new Artemis 2 launch date could be as soon as April 1st at 6:24 at night. Now that's the best case scenario because the mission managers at the press conference Thursday still say there's some work to do before launch, both in the VAB and at the pad. NASA's targeting SLS's second rollout to the launch pad next Thursday, the 19th.
This is an exciting time for our entire flight operations team to fly humans around the moon for the first time in over 50 years, send them further than any humans since Apollo 13, and continue paving the road of human exploration to the moon and beyond. As always, our astronauts and their safety remain our top priority.
So we're not going to celebrate till we get Reed and Victor and Christina and Jeremy safely home.
NASA also announcing if it can't launch on April Fool's Day, it's added April 2nd as a possible launch date. The early April launch window runs until April the 6th. In Brevard County, I'm your Cape Canaveral community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Time now to get a check of that weather. We got some of that much-needed rain today. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, is any of it lingering around?
It is, yeah. We have a couple of downpours on there. Nothing too terribly heavy. We lost the lightning strike. We would watch these work their way in from northwest to southeast and then eventually push these showers again, working their way towards the I-4 corridor at about this time. Scattered downpours again still in the mix as we work our way into the next couple of hours. So here's the timeline as we move towards that 5, 6 o'clock hour. There's 6 to 7 o'clock. We see the couple of downpours still hanging on along and southeast of I-4. You can track these downpours if you're getting ready to head home from work by downloading the free News 6 weather app and using the interactive radar tool. And then you see it right there, a few more scattered showers to about 8, 9 o'clock, and then we are done with this round of rain. The higher rain chances, though, coming as we get into the weekend, especially Sunday into Monday. There's the clouds and rain forecast again for tomorrow. There's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, just a few stray clouds in the mix. I think we'll have the opportunity for a few showers to try to sneak back in here early in the morning on Saturday. And then we'll try to focus areas along west of Orlando and Apopka. There's 4 o'clock in the morning on Saturday as we get into the afternoon. It's all because of a big cold front. It's pushing through as we speak. You see it's bringing snow back to places into the northeast. Now, while it will turn cooler, the bigger round of cold arrives as we get into the early part of next work week. Here is a gray look in downtown Orlando. It's a live look with our Light Orlando. Delivering Hope Sky Camp tonight, we have air temperatures back to the upper 60s as the front is passing by. The wind is also cranking up. You can tell that front has passed not only by the temperature drop, of course, to the 60s, but the wind direction is now shifted from that southerly component back to the north-northwest, ushering in some of that cooler and eventually drier air back to central Florida. Mid-60s now in Leesburg. Good evening in Ocala. We are at 64 behind the front. You see where that front has not crossed yet. It is still very warm in Holopon. Mid-80s for us. We are at 87 degrees in Palm Bay. That will change big time, though, as we get into tomorrow. We'll start things off in the 50s and 60s, a little bit cooler, still on the warmer side, though, when compared to where we should be for this time of the year. High temperatures tomorrow do fall back to closer to where we should be. That puts us back to the upper 70s and lower 80s. Rain chances are low into the afternoon, maybe a stray shower on the coast, but that's about it. I do think we will keep those extra clouds out there for now. Then we will fast forward into the weekend. It is not a washout. I know some of the rain percentages that we have in the 7-day forecast, and if you have the News 6 weather app, are a little daunting. We're going to guide you through it here. So Saturday afternoon into the evening, I think we're going to focus things along into the west of Orlando, closer to I-75. Then once we get into Sunday, you're going to notice a big-time sea breeze collision. So this could be one of our summer-like storm systems or summer-like storm setups as we get into the evening. There's 6 to 7 o'clock again. A lot of storm action going on in the interior side of things. I think the coasts are fine. And then once we get into Monday, rain chances really ramping up. You see that right there again. There's 4 o'clock in your afternoon. We also have a new cold front coming down the pipeline, and that's going to change things up. Orlando City back home on Saturday, home opener for the Pride on Sunday, St. Paddy's Day on Tuesday. A lot of action in between all those days, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, if you've been through a fast food drive lately, you may have noticed one thing, the prices.
And as those costs go up, so does the effort from companies to try to win you over. Up next, the burger battle that has CEOs participating in the viral marketing themselves. Donovan Myrie breaks it all down in today's Dollars and Cents.
Your Thursday evening traffic alert. You're going to see a complete closure yet again of the Florida Turnpike in the northbound direction in the northbound portions. I'm talking over by Hancock between Mineola and Montverde. So just be careful overnight. It's been happening a lot, but we always got to make sure you're being cautious, right? And then 429 over at Schofield. This was the warning we gave you guys earlier in the week. And you're going to see a lot of it as they put in that new bridge over here for the extender out towards 27. So just be cautious. And then you'll see those closures and lane closures along the Turnpike and I-4 between about 528 and the Turnpike out there. And then, of course, westbound I-4 approaching 434. Some minor delays as you approach the express lanes. I'm Trooper Steve with the News 6 Traffic Alert. Drive safely. I'll catch you in the morning.
The heads of the big three fast food chains have all popped up on social media this month, pushing new burgers and a little friendly rivalry and snark. You may have seen this video making the rounds online. McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczinski taking a very small bite of his company's new Big Arch Burger and calling it the product.
It's a delicious product.
The cringeworthy clip went viral, drawing millions of views and even some playful trolling from rival CEOs. Burger King responded with its CEO taking an enthusiastic bite of a Whopper.
Only one thing missing. A napkin.
While Wendy's boss joked in a social media post that their Frosty machines always seem to work. Behind the memes, there's a real battle heating up as all three chains roll out new burgers and fight for customer attention. McDonald's has its Big Arch Burger, priced at almost $11. Burger King has a refreshed Whopper with new packaging and tastier mayo for just short of about $7. And Wendy's is pushing its new cheesy bacon cheeseburger for around $6.50. If those prices sound high, today they're the norm, but far off from what we were paying years ago. Back in 2013, the year Wendy's sunsetted its 99-cent menu, a Big Mac cost just $4.18 and a Whopper was just $3.25. Comparing them to today's prices, the former is up 77%, the latter 109%. As the price for fast food has outpaced inflation, the choice for customers is increasingly this: pay more for what used to be cheap or pay even more for a little extra. For Dollars and Cents, I'm Donovan Myrie.
Well, they'll keep raising those prices until we stop going.
That's right.
Well, it's a common and smelly occurrence along Florida's coast.
So we are talking about sargassum and seaweed. Up next, the record-setting seasons some environmentalists are expecting this year and why it might be happening. Plus,
spending more on gas coming up with gas prices going up. I spoke with rideshare drivers who tell me they're feeling the impact.
And the spring breakers are here already. Live look at Daytona Beach. You're watching News 6. Keep it here. We'll be right back.
glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
I'm Matt Austin. You're watching News 6 at 5. We're following several top stories for you right now. Some breaking news out of Michigan. A Jewish temple attacked by a gunman early this afternoon, according to law enforcement. CBS News tells us only the suspect was killed. We'll bring you the latest as soon as we learn more online at clickorlando.com.
In Seminole County, a family is leaning on the community after their mom was injured in a crash during Daytona Beach's Bike Week. The Sanford restaurant owner survived, but she is facing a long recovery. A GoFundMe is now active for her continued fight.
In Flagler County, the woman we now know accused of letting her newborn die, then burying it in the backyard, is getting out of jail. That's according to the Sheriff's Office website. Ann Mae Demigillo was arrested last week in Palm Coast. She was given bond today, posted it in the last few hours. We'll let you know when she walks out. And taking a live look at Daytona Beach and the Orlando International Airport. Spring break is almost here as people head to the Sunshine State to take in the beautiful warm weather and enjoy our incredible beaches. But your wallet may be seeing major impacts if you're driving to your destination. Gas prices continue to climb. In Florida, we're looking at $3.71 a gallon, up just about a penny from yesterday, but it's a major jump from this time last week, where prices were sitting at like $3.24. That climb may not be slowing down anytime soon. Iran's new leader announcing today they'll continue a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital oil shipping route. It comes as the country continues attacks in those waters, as well as attacks on oil facilities in nearby countries who are friendly with the U.S. CBS News' Erica Brown brings us the latest.
Iran state-run TV read a message Thursday attributed to its new supreme leader, Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei, who defiantly vowed to continue to block the Strait of Hormuz and target other Gulf nations supporting the United States. Iranian missiles continue to target oil tankers in the strait, which is a key waterway for the global export of crude oil.
Those countries who have joined the aggression should not benefit from safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz.
Iranian drones have also damaged oil facilities of U.S. allies in the region, like Bahrain.
The Iranian regime is trying to create chaos to back us off and keep them in power. The single worst thing we could do is leave this regime in power.
Some lawmakers continue to raise concerns about Operation Epic Fury and the bombing of an Iranian girls' school. Sources tell CBS News a preliminary assessment suggests the U.S. was likely responsible.
Can you guess how we could have gotten this wrong in Iran and targeted a children's school?
Ma'am, I would hesitate to speculate with any incident like this. There's, I would just say there's usually a chain of errors and mistakes that happen, similar to an aviation accident or some other transportation accident. And I would say we just need to let the investigation play out and find all those factors.
Sources say the strike was possibly due to dated intelligence that wrongly identified the school as part of an Iranian military installation. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
So we wanted to see how these gas prices right here are impacting the wallets of Floridians. Many people make a living as a driver. News 6's Tylisa Hampton fills us in on the impacts to Florida's rideshare drivers.
With gas prices steadily going up, I spoke with rideshare drivers in this parking lot. They tell me they're feeling that dreadful phrase, pain at the pump.
Because right now you have to spend more money on gas to travel, work, and everything.
With more money going towards the gas tank, rideshare drivers are feeling every pinch.
Yeah, I feel it every day.
Every penny you're spending, now you have to add it or to budget. Because you're spending more now, you got to cut bills somehow.
AAA reports the national average of a gallon of regular gasoline has jumped nearly 35 cents since last week. It's a steady trend since the war in the Middle East.
When you're in war, everything is changing. Rent go up, gas go up, food go up.
And before rideshare drivers even select their ride, they're all looking closer on the gas meter.
Before I have to fill my tank, $35 because I have a Camry. Right now it costs me $55.
Before it's maybe 38, 35, and now it's a 52.
Many drivers with Uber and Lyft being selective on which routes they choose.
Because Uber can tell you it's 4 minutes, 5 minutes, which is almost 15 minutes for $4. And they don't count the traffic, they don't count the traffic lights.
Even those who own their own driving business feeling the weight of every penny.
I used to do like $100. Now I have to charge them $120 to make up for my gas, my time, because, and that's the only way it will work.
Experts say it will get worse before it gets better. Drivers hoping the price won't crush them.
The customer suffered, the driver suffered.
And those rideshare drivers, they tell me, hopefully those gas prices start to go down so business can go back to normal. Reporting for News 6, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
Well, like it or not, it's that time of year again when large clumps of seaweed like this start washing up along our beaches. Now, it's officially called sargassum, and environmental experts here in Florida say 2026 is going to be a record-breaking season for wash-ups. Bree Buckley from CBS News in Miami spoke with one of those experts.
This family from Connecticut comes down on vacation around this time every year. They say they're familiar with the seaweed lining the shore.
A little more seaweed than we're used to seeing. It's not too bothersome.
But experts say more is on the way.
The worst is yet to come.
Dr. Xuan Min Hu is a professor of oceanography at the University of South Florida. According to the school's latest 2026 sargassum outlook, most regions in the Atlantic Ocean are seeing record high sargassum for the month of February, more than 10 million metric tons total.
A lot of variable factors like ocean currents and winds that can play a big role in determining whether or not Florida will receive a record amount or not. But those are difficult to predict.
He says the bloom is hitting earlier this year, piling on top of what was left over from last year, combined with a warm ocean that helps it grow. Now what's floating in the water is a natural plant and safe. But when it washes up on shore and begins to decay, that's when it attracts insects and bacteria.
Because once they had so much, and I had very bad itch, so I avoided.
Cleanup costs millions, with mitigation plans in place to either mix or rake the sargassum along our coast and keep the beach clean and tourists happy.
The sun's out, it's not raining, we're out here to have a good time.
Now, last year, News 6 told you about a $3 million project at USF's College of Marine Science trying to predict where all the seaweed in the Atlantic ends up. It uses satellites to take measurements and then draw a map. Your Brevard County community correspondent James Barbero reported that back in 2023. Officials actually removed seaweed from Miami beaches, but beaches in Brevard County did not interfere with Mother Nature. Now, while some might complain about the smell from all of this, the fungus that grows is actually food for animals like birds and crabs, and the bloom typically peaks in June.
To learn more about sargassum, seaweed, and the impacts it has on Florida beaches, we have multiple articles on clickorlando.com. I just don't like the way it feels on my feet.
It is, when you go out there, you just want to see nice, like white sand. Emerald water, and that does appear to be a little nasty, but it plays an important role in our environment.
Sure. Yeah. Well, now to a recall alert. If you drive a Toyota Highlander, the company's recalling 550,000 of these things from 2021 to 24. The second row seats don't always lock into position after adjustment, which could cause injuries. Toyota says dealers will repair those seats for free.
Over the past 13 years, the Orlando Fire Department has raised more than $400,000 to help children battling cancer.
And this weekend, you can help. All you'll have to do is shave your head. On tonight's Trooper Steve on patrol, he previews the St. Baldrick's Head Shave fundraiser.
We're shaving a lieutenant's head today, and we've got how long you been with the fire department there, sir?
About 2 years now.
All right, firefighter Kimball's been with them for 2 years, and Lieutenant Allen, you've been with the fire for how long?
Only 8.
Only?
Yeah.
He says only 8. That just means he got promoted fast. It's okay, though, because we're going to shave his head today. So, like I said earlier, talking to John, this is all for the St. Baldrick's Foundation that's happening at Saturday in Lake Mary at Citrus City Brewery. And let's get started. It's all you, man.
All
Did you
right.
ever think you're going to be shaving a lieutenant's head?
Sometimes.
Sometime.
Once again, the Head Shave event is this Saturday. Citrus City Craft Beer and Burgers in Lake Mary is where it's going to take place. Now, if you do not want to lose your hair, the event organizers say you can still donate money. There will be raffles and plenty of food. And you can hit the road with Trooper Steve on patrol weekdays at 2:30 in the in the afternoon and 8:30 at night on the new 6 Plus streaming app for your smart TV or clickorlando.com.
Well, it's a story we brought you just last week.
Now, your Brevard County community correspondent James Barbero is getting results for the community in Port St. John.
Just a few days after I told a story about staggering costs for homeowners trying to connect their septic tank systems to a sewer line, the homeowners say they have a win in their fight against the county. I'm your Port St. John community correspondent James Barbero. I'll share the update.
A couple of downpours still out there, but all in all, showers continue to fade fast as expected. These will be moving along in southeast of I-4 over the next couple of hours. We'll pinpoint when these exit and then talk about even higher rain chances coming away for part of your weekend at about 5:47.
Try out the all-new primetime schedule on News 6 Plus. Ginger and I have a new take on the day's news on News 6 tonight. That's at 9. Then chat with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas at 9:30. Watch the late news an hour early. It's all tonight on News 6 Plus.
And you can download our streaming app for free. Just search WKMG in your smart TV's app store. It's also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
Breaking right now, the woman accused of giving birth, watching the baby die, and then burying the newborn in her backyard just left jail. Our cameras were outside the Flagler County Jail waiting for her, and they captured Anna Demigillo running out of that jail. Earlier today, the judge set the bond at $250,000 for the 20-year-old. Her defense team saying that while she's accused of doing something violent, she is not a danger to the community. Demigillo is charged with aggravated manslaughter. Well, have you heard about the News 6 Neighborhood Network? It's our newest way to get you help with the issues affecting you and your neighbors right down to your own street.
Last week, a Brevard County homeowner contacted us to get off the hook for a staggering cost to connect her septic tank system to a sewer line. Your Port St. John community correspondent James Sparvero put a spotlight on the plight of those neighbors. And now, all new, the county is taking back the threats to fine homeowners and is even offering to help pay for their conversions.
A week after I reported that homeowners on that side of Fay Boulevard could have to spend up to $100,000 to connect to the sewer line on this side of the 4-lane divided highway, Brevard County just mailed homeowners a new letter that no longer threatens to fine them or restrict services if they don't make the long connection in the next year. While it's still the law to get homes off septic tanks, which the county says is better for the environment, it is not the county's intent to impose an unreasonable financial burden on property owners based on the costs currently being quoted. So you must live on the happiest street in Brevard County now. My coverage of what was going to be a huge burden for homeowners started when Rosemary Augustine contacted me through the News 6 Neighborhood Network.
We're talking $60,000 to $100,000 per homeowner.
After our initial interview ran, now the county says it will, quote, explore potential grant funding and other financial assistance opportunities that may help offset connection costs for property owners in the future.
There's some older homes on Fay. I don't know if the home values are even worth what it would cost to connect.
That was local plumber Jeff Rice's opinion when I asked him last week about the project. Rosemary had told me she only qualified for a $12,000 grant through the county's Save Our Indian River Lagoon program.
Not even 3 years ago, I had a brand new septic system for $10,000. For me to have to lay out additional monies, that's a little bit of a stretch.
Rosemary says she'd still like to see the county bring the connection to her side of the street, and I've been meaning to ask the county if it will do that. But like last week, no one wanted to be interviewed for this update either. There's no time frame when homeowners might get more financial assistance, so I'll continue to stay on top of this story to tell you what happens next. In Brevard County, I'm your Port St. John community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
All right, we want to check in now with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. As you can see behind us, changes are on the way for our weather.
Yeah, we need the rain, obviously. Guys, we are tracking a couple of showers out there, certainly losing a little bit of their punch. As expected, we talked about yesterday at this time that as this line of downpours and showers was pushing from north to south, that it would lose a lot of its kind of strength as it moved that way. We do have some rain, though, so be careful if you're heading home over the next hour or so. Some scattered showers moving through I-4. We had a couple of lightning strikes earlier as these cells kind of exited the the southern Volusia coast, northern Brevard coast. That has also since fizzled out tonight. We have a couple of lightning strikes moving in from Polk County, so we'll be watching you guys in Kenansville, Yeehaw Junction, eventually Palm Bay over the next couple of hours to maybe see a stray rumble of thunder as we continue to watch this. Obviously, the rain is much needed. Every Thursday we talk about this. We get the new drought monitor from the United States Department of Agriculture, and it continues to look worse, even though we did get a little bit of rain last week. This goes through about Tuesday. It takes into account the rain up to Tuesday, so what we'll see now will be reflected on the drought monitor next week, but still the extreme drought in red, the severe drought status has expanded a little bit further. So obviously things aren't the greatest when it comes to the moisture. We'll take what we can get, but what we have out there now is pretty much not going to put any kind of dent in the drought situation. There is a live look outside in Daytona Beach right now. We have air temperatures in the mid-60s, still a couple of stray showers around, the breeze out of the northwest at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Big divide in the temperature department right now. We have that front kind of situated just to the southeast of I-4. It's keeping our temperatures near 90 in Melbourne and in Palm Bay, but back to the mid-60s in Leesburg and Ocala tonight. That cooler, drier air will eventually get down the entirety of the Florida Peninsula to let us wake up to this. Still above where we should be, but cooler than where we've been, back to the 50s and lower 60s. Now here's a look at your afternoon.
Your forecast is sponsored by Advent Health.
Air temperatures tomorrow still warm. We're hanging around 80 degrees. That's pretty much right where we should be for this time of the year. Just a stray lingering shower, and that's mainly along the coast tomorrow. Otherwise, I do think we'll see a mainly cloudy sky, especially the further south you are in central Florida. So here's the deal. Again, we'll keep scattered showers in the mix for the next couple of hours. These will all start to push off our shore by around 8 or 9 o'clock. There's 6, 7 o'clock on your Friday morning. Watch out for a few extra clouds. I think the roads will be dry at that point. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the white on your screen, so representing a few clouds lingering with us. And then some of that drier air punches in for the second half of Friday into the early part of Saturday. That's going to be 7 o'clock into the evening on Friday, and things are looking pretty good. Once we get to the weekend, though, rain chances going up. 40% shot for storms on Saturday, back to 60% chance, especially late in the day on Sunday. And then Monday into the afternoon will increase rain chances further before we see a drop off as some drier air comes in. Don't let the higher rain chances scare you. Certainly there's a lot of dodging to be done if you have plans outside, but no day is a total loss. 40% shot again for storms. Orlando City back in town. Pride home opener on Sunday. Certainly going to be an issue with some storms around the stadium.
All right, that's not good. Jonathan, thank you. Well, you've probably seen it yourself, storms and hurricanes leading to major flooding issues.
Those issues especially prevalent in Osceola County.
And it was a real emotional scene going there, you know, walking through 2-3 feet of water at that time, especially after Hurricane Ian.
Coming up, the money going to the county to address flooding issues and bring some relief.
Coming up in the morning, a plan for hundreds of new homes causing controversy in Volusia County.
One developer will try to make the case to neighbors, but getting their support may not be easy.
Plus, rain in the forecast just in time for spring break. Candace will have an update on the timing every 10 minutes.
We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 6.
Fixing flooding issues. That's what FEMA funds coming to Osceola County are aiming to do.
Congressman Darren Soto worked to secure $13 million to strengthen Osceola County's ability to deal with major storms. It comes after recent hurricanes brought on historic flooding.
Your Osceola County community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez fills us in.
Here in Florida, hurricanes and excessive rainfall is inevitable. And in this part of Osceola County, major storms have led to flooded streets and flooded homes. But now federal dollars will help the county strengthen its ability to deal with all of that.
Today, I'm proud to announce.
On Thursday, Congressman Darren Soto sharing that $13 million in FEMA funds will be awarded to Osceola County. The first $10 million will fund drainage improvements to reduce flooding in the Buenaventura Lake subdivision. The money will be used to build a new positive outfall system to improve existing stormwater collection. Soto tells me he's committed to doing what he can to help improve the systems that residents rely on to keep them safe, especially after witnessing major flooding in recent years.
And it was a real emotional scene going there, walking through 2-3 feet of water at that time, especially after Hurricane Ian. We had the FEMA administrator down there at the time, Chriswell, and seeing abuelas coming out of their homes and other people who were just looking for help. It really motivates you to do whatever you can.
The other $3 million will go toward making traffic lights at 5 intersections storm resistant. 13 wire-mounted signals like this one will be swapped out for mast arm-mounted ones that can withstand 150-mile-an-hour winds. The funds to mitigate flooding will go toward a project that is already in motion here on Simpson Road. That project includes updating the sewer and drainage system. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Ginger Gadsden is in the newsroom with what we are working on for News 6 at 6.
Lisa and Matt, we're following some breaking news coming out of Flagler County tonight. A young woman charged in the death of her newborn released from jail just moments ago. We are checking in with News 6 reporter Catherine Silver, who is live outside the jail. Plus, a day after a change in coaching, we're getting an update from Orlando City SC on what's next for the team. A live look now at downtown Orlando from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. It is cloudy out there and rain is on the way. You're watching News 6. We'll be right back.
A mother of 16 badly hurt during Bike Week in Volusia County, now getting support from the community.
I knew she was loved. just not how much. Not how much, yeah. We had one like, I think 60 bikers here.
Plus, some rain in the forecast. Who can expect a wet end to the night? And businesses closing doors in Winter Garden. How one bookstore is working to offer a service to customers even after it shuts its doors.
Please remember this is a small town and we like our small businesses here.
News 6 at 6 starts now.
Developing tonight, a horrific story we have been following out of Flagler County as a 20-year-old woman accused of burying her baby in her backyard was just released from jail.
Yeah, it's a disturbing story out of Palm Coast. We're learning today the 20-year-old woman was granted bond in court. News 6's Catherine Silver is live in Flagler County today after she walked out. Kat?
Yeah, it all happened very quickly. As soon as Ann May DeMiguilo opened these doors behind me, she took off and started running. I'm going to show you that video now so that you can see it for yourself. You'll see she starts walking down the sidewalk, holding up a piece of paper to block her face, cuts across the grass and keeps running towards her family's car that was here in the parking lot waiting to pick her up. Now, her release is the result of a hearing earlier today where a judge did decide to grant her a $250,000 bond. Again, the details in this case are extremely disturbing. In court earlier today, we heard the lead detective on the case again describe how DeMiguilo reportedly told them she gave birth on a toilet, let the newborn drown, and then later buried the 3-pound, 6-ounce baby girl in the backyard at her home in Palm Coast. DeMiguilo was granted bond because her defense team says although what she did was violent, she is not a danger to the community. She is facing a charge of aggravated manslaughter. There are terms to DeMiguilo's release. She will be required to wear a GPS monitor, and she was given a strict order not to have any contact with minors. I'm live in Flagler County. Catherine Silver, News 6.
Catherine, thank you, of course, for all these breaking stories. We'll keep you posted as soon as we learn more information on News 6 and clickorlando.com.
All right, it is time now for a check of our forecast, and we are getting some desperately needed rain in the area. I'm sorry, spring breakers. I know you're about to start a big time in your life, but meteorologist Jonathan Kaga steps into the picture now to give us an update on what things are looking like right now. Jonathan.
Yeah, there's nothing too crazy out there. The good news is we are watching again these showers continue to push their way back out. The darker reds indicating where we have the heavier rainfall. That is mainly off of our coast. Now we have a couple of downpours that have emerged back into parts of Brevard County, but otherwise, most of this is on the lighter side. Earlier today, we had a couple of lightning strikes in the mix. Those have kind of petered out. We do have a few lightning strikes in Polk County closer to Bartow and Fort Meade. Otherwise, most of this is just very light, and it is not going to put any kind of dent into the drought situation. We do have a cold front pushing through. That is the reason for the downpours that we had earlier today and just the light showers we have out there right now. This will deliver us some cooler air as we move into tomorrow. It's still going to be warm tomorrow, but when you compare it to the record temperatures that we've had over the past several days, it's going to be running about 10 degrees cooler than where we've been. Rain chances for the next couple of hours will steadily drop about 30% by 8 o'clock. And as we get towards midnight and just for the few hours overnight, that'll go back to zero. These rain chances sharply increase again as we move into the weekend, especially Sunday into Monday. So if you have plans for spring break or just to hang out this weekend, we'll guide you through those rain chances. The percentages are daunting, but it's not going to be a total loss. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about at about 6:17, guys.
Jonathan, thank you. Well, tonight a Sanford family is leaning on their community after a local restaurant owner was seriously injured in a motorcycle crash during Bike Week in Daytona last week.
Now, her daughter says the night it happened left her and her siblings in tears, and now their mom faces a long and painful road to recovery. But as News 6's Jarrell Baker shows us, the community is already rallying around her.
Me and my sister who was here, you know, we FaceTimed each other, and both of our faces are swollen because we've been crying all night.
It was a night Shadiq Muhammad and her 15 siblings say they'll never forget. Their mother, Chantel Williams, the heart of their family, was seriously injured March 4th after being hit on her motorcycle during Bike Week in Daytona Beach.
She has 2 plates in each shoulder, 2 rods in her right arm, and 1 rod in her left. They couldn't do anything about the shattered breastplate or the pelvis.
The beloved Sanford restaurant owner survived, but her recovery will be a long one.
I think the doctor said 6 weeks each part that's broken or something. They said she can't have weight on her legs for about 8 weeks.
Now her family is turning to the community, launching a GoFundMe to help cover her medical stay. Muhammad says the support so far has been overwhelming.
I mean, I knew she was loved, just not how much. Not how much, yeah. We had one like, I think 60 bikers here in one day. It was overwhelming.
We reached out to Daytona Beach police about the crash, and we're waiting to hear back. In Sanford, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
Developing tonight now, a suspect is dead. Officials say they rammed a truck into a Michigan synagogue. Law enforcement there say a man drove a truck through the doors of the building down a hallway. This happened in West Bloomfield, just northwest of Detroit. Officials say the man got out of that car with a gun, leading to synagogue security to shoot that suspect. They were found dead in the car, the suspect was. It's not known how that person died. Officials say no one else was hurt. In Brevard County, a man had his first appearance in court today. Police say Daniel Davis hit another person in a drunk driving accident in Palm Bay Tuesday. Officers say he almost blew double the legal limit. While talking to officers, police say all Davis wanted to know was who was going to pay for the damage to his vehicle. Well, today the judge set his bond at $450,000, charged with DUI with serious injury. Police say the person hit might not even survive. The judge also pointed out this guy had 4 prior DUIs.
New at 6, Flagler County and Orange County deputies arrested a man accused of stealing more than $100,000 from a senior in Palm Coast. Deputies say this guy, Stephen Marcato, called the woman multiple times in December, claiming her bank account and computer were hacked and she needed to pay to fix it. The woman reported this to deputies in Flagler, leading to a warrant for his arrest. He was arrested Friday in Orange County for grand theft and is also facing charges because deputies say he had a gun and drugs on him when they arrested him. He was released on a $23,000 bond.
Well, now that Orlando City SC is parting ways with its head coach, we're learning why he's leaving and what's next for the team. The Lions gave an update not long ago. News 6 Sports Director Jamie Say joins us live from Inter & Co Stadium in Orlando. Jamie, what do you know?
Well, Matt, today Orlando City leadership recognized all that Oscar Pareja has done for the club. 6 playoff appearances and the most wins by a Lions head coach. But leadership also acknowledged that there were differences of opinions about the state of the team, the style of play, and vision for the future. So both sides agreed that it was time for new directions. Today, I did ask Orlando City General Manager Ricardo Morera about what the Lions coaching search will look like and whether they plan to hire Pareja's replacement before the end of this season. Morera said for now the club is getting behind interim head coach Martin Perelman, who will be considered for the permanent job. Despite the 0-3 start to this season and the coaching transition, Morera indicated that this season is not a rebuild. He believes the club can improve and still compete with the best.
First, it's important to say that it was a mutual agreement between us and Oscar Pareja, ongoing conversations that were taken and that started in the last few weeks, that simply we were thinking about the future in a different way. We were going into a different direction. Maybe we didn't share the same long-term vision for the club, and then we agreed that this was the right time. The season has just started. We haven't played even 10% of the season yet. This is not lost season. We're still competing for 3 trophies.
Yeah, he's right. Orlando City still has 31 regular season MLS matches left, including tomorrow's home game against Montreal. Kickoff here at Inter & Co Stadium is at 7:30. Live at Inter & Co in downtown Orlando, I'm Jamie Say, News 6. Matt Ginger, back to you.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Now at 6, some big and exciting news from our Space Coast. NASA's Artemis II mission has a new launch date, and everyone is hoping this one sticks. The goal here is to send 4 astronauts on a journey around the moon, but there's been an issue, or there have been issues, trying to get this thing off the ground. The latest problem being loading helium that required a rollback to the vehicle assembly building. That happened late last month, dashing all hopes of any March launch dates. Now, with the helium issue apparently fixed, NASA says Artemis II could launch as soon as April 1st.
All the teams polled go to launch and fly Artemis II.
This is an exciting time for our entire flight operations team to fly humans around the moon for the first time in over 50 years, send them further than any humans since Apollo 13, and continue paving the road of human exploration to the moon and beyond. As always, our astronauts and their safety remain our top priority.
NASA is hoping to roll the Space Launch System back out to the launch pad 29 1 week from today, so next Thursday. We, of course, will be following all of these developments very closely.
Well, neighbors in Winter Garden continue to see businesses closing doors.
This includes a bookstore coming up. Why this store closing is different than some of the other stores we've told you about lately. Plus,
if you're buying a car from a private seller, listen up. I'm News 6 investigator Louis Bolden. A Marion County couple is out of tens of thousands of dollars after buying a car on Facebook Marketplace. Turns out the seller sold them a stolen truck. And it happens more than you might think. The story coming up.
Good evening. We're following the search for motives in these two attacks today. One, a shooting at Old Dominion University in Virginia. The other, a car packed with explosives that slammed into a Michigan synagogue. What we're learning ahead on the CBS Evening News.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health.
If you're planning on buying a car from a private seller, listen up. I'm News 6 investigator Louis Bolden. A Marion County couple is out of tens of thousands of dollars after buying a car on Facebook Marketplace. Turns out the seller sold them a stolen truck. If you think it's uncommon, think again. Our investigation found it is so common, it has a name.
Oh, it's horrible. I cried for probably 3 days straight.
Alexis McBlain and her husband used to flip vehicles, so they're not rookies to buying things off Facebook Marketplace.
I mean, we probably bought, I don't know, 20, 30 vehicles on Facebook. We sell houses on Facebook. We sell furniture, everything.
So when they saw this ad for a 2022 Chevy Silverado, they contacted the seller. McBlain sent her father to meet the seller and inspect the vehicle. He shot this video and everything looked good. So they withdrew nearly $30,000 in cash and met the seller again to buy it.
My husband checked all the VINs, make sure everything matched the title. The guy showed us his ID, signed the title in front of us, everything was good.
But it wasn't. The title was fake and the VIN number was fake. Investigators later found the truck the crooks took the VIN from was out of Virginia, but the truck the McBlains had was stolen out of Texas. So investigators confiscated it. Now they're out of the money and the vehicle. Investigators call it a clone car.
Criminals will take those VIN numbers and replace them with VIN numbers off of other vehicles that have like a clean title or maybe registered in a different state, and then they'll try to either resell the car or export the car out of the country.
Lieutenant Paul Volkerson works in the auto theft division at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. He says his department confiscates around 30 to 40 clone cars a year. That's in Orange County alone.
That is fraudulent VIN number right there.
How do they even get to that?
So in order to get this out, they'll pop the windshield out. Usually the suspects will pop the windshield out, remove the true vehicle identification number plate, put the fraudulent one in, put the windshield back on, and then it makes it even harder to tell that it was removed and replaced.
Lieutenant Volkerson says it's hard to spot the fakes because the crooks also changed the sticker in the door that has the VIN.
But the general public is not going to look at this, think it looks anything different than the manufacturer one.
When buying a used car, Volkerson says dig into the vehicle's history through Carfax, the National Insurance Crime Bureau, or the DMV.
You can always call our auto theft unit, bring the vehicle down here, do the transaction here in the parking lot, have the auto theft unit look at the car, and they can tell you if there's any discrepancies with the VIN number then.
I think that would have deterred the bad guy.
It's been a lot. Financially straining, mentally straining. I mean, it's just been a lot.
Lewis Bolden, News 6.
Well, downtown Winter Garden is known for its quaint charm and its locally owned downtown businesses.
And we've seen many changes in the past few weeks with small businesses in the downtown area in particular. Your West Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton, has been reporting on those changes, and they just keep on coming.
Well, we have reported on small business after small business in downtown Winter Garden closing its doors. Recently, this bookstore right over here announced that it would be closing. Only they say it's for a different reason, but it's still heartbreaking.
$64.50. As people browse, they're exploring their next read.
Because I really believe in supporting small businesses.
But after 5 years, the life of this charming bookstore in downtown Winter Garden is coming to a close next month.
I'd like to see them flourish, and when I see them get canceled like this, it just makes me really sad. And
Writer's Block Bookstore notes that after many changes in the area, their lease is ending because the rent would nearly triple, pricing them out despite not having a new landlord.
We've experienced a lot of loss in Winter Garden, and just several of my favorite places, to be honest with you. So I just heard about this one just a day or two ago, and it just makes me really sad.
As downtown Winter Garden has become a hot real estate market, multiple small businesses have announced closures after new landlords bought their buildings, raising concerns about the future of the once unique small town downtown.
Small businesses aren't just a storefront, they're families and employees.
What do you think will become of this area? I know it's seen a lot of changes with the small businesses.
You know, I'm nervous about it.
Because each book that people grab at this bookstore, they say represents so much more.
They're good people, they're hardworking people, honest people.
The warm, inviting space attracting out-of-state tourists.
Sad because we have mom and pop bookstores around us, and they're better than other bigger ones.
We have reached out to the current company that owns the building the bookstore is in and are waiting to hear back. Book shoppers hoping what comes next is not a drastic shift.
Please remember this is a small town and we like our small businesses here.
And we're told they're still looking at all of the options to help those customers who have a passion for books. Reporting for News 6, I'm Talisa Hampton.
It really is a wonderful downtown to visit.
very nice.
Downtown's getting a little soggy today for the most part. We have meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joining us. A lot of folks getting some rain tonight.
Yeah, a little bit anyway. Not going to be enough to take away the drought. Some people missing out completely, but we'll take what we can get, of course. Scattered showers around. We did have a shower pushed through on the side of West Orange County, closer to Winter Garden, sliding through Oak Ridge, now back toward Apopka. We had some heavier downpours earlier in the evening. Those have since pushed back off towards the east and kind of weakened a little bit. Take you closer down to the Space Coast tonight. I was tracking these showers and downpours for you coming out of Osceola County. We have more pushing just to the north of us in Ehi Junction, closer to Kenansville tonight. Grant, Valkyria, and Palm Bay, we have some of the healthiest stuff, at least, on the radar right now. Mikko, good evening. We're going to be watching for some downpours on the west side of town, getting really close to the town center over the next couple of minutes or so. There's 6 to 7 o'clock in the evening. We're going to watch a few more downpours try to flare up south and east of I-4. Those will eventually push back out over the Atlantic by around 8, 9 o'clock. There's 2 o'clock on your Friday. I think we're going to keep extra clouds around, but nonetheless, we are going to be on the drier side tomorrow, albeit a little bit cooler. Once we get into the early morning hours of Saturday, you see a little flare up of some downpours trying to come back in. We're going to get moisture back into Central Florida again on Saturday, and this is really going to start the increasing rain chances that we have on the 7-day forecast. Optimistic on Saturday again, not a total loss, but the best opportunity for some showers. See, that's 5 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, going to be to the west. I'll take you further through the weekend in just 1 second. Here is the reason for the showers. It's this cold front. It's going to drop our temperatures by tomorrow by about 10-ish degrees. So that's a change, but it's not going to do anything crazy. The second one, though, that one that arrives on Monday, that's going to bring us the 40s back to a lot of Central Florida by the time we get into the early part of next work week. Wind's a little wet there. Live look downtown Orlando with our light Orlando delivering Hope Skycam. Air temperatures back to the upper 60s. Airport is reporting that downpour pushing through with a breeze out of the northwest at about 10 miles an hour. Big temperature divide. We were showing you this earlier. That front is sliding further to the south now. Palm Bay, it's coming. Still at 80 degrees, but it's just to the north and west. It's hanging around 70. Mid-60s in Leesburg, Mount Dora. Good evening. We are back to 65 degrees. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
Still mild tomorrow. Temperatures back to the 50s and 60s. A little bit cooler, though, than where we've been. Same deal tomorrow afternoon, right around where we should be for this time of the year. But we're about 10 degrees cooler. Now, getting into the rest of your Saturday, here's 6 o'clock. Notice that most of the downpour action wants to stay toward the I-75 corridor. Getting into Sunday, rain chances are high, and you see it right here. Big summertime, summer-like sea breeze collision as we get towards the evening. The storms come together. Well, it looks like we're going to have widespread storms late Sunday and then again later into the afternoon on Monday. So we'll be watching that for your spring break plans over the next couple of days. Rain chances back to 40% Saturday, higher on Sunday, even higher on Monday, cooler for St. Patrick's Day. We'll be right back.
We're following your top stories tonight. The woman accused of giving birth on a toilet, watching the baby die, and then burying it in the backyard was just released from jail. 20-year-old Ann Demagillo is facing aggravated manslaughter charges. Investigators say they plan to file more charges in this case, including tampering with evidence.
In Brevard County, a man had his first appearance in court today. Police say Daniel Davis hit another person in a drunk driving accident in Palm Bay on Tuesday. Now, officers say his blood alcohol level was nearly double the legal limit. Police say that person may not survive. Davis's bond was set at $450,000.
Crews out on Flagler Beach today dismantling a sailboat. This thing washed up in late January. The city gave the owners 21 days to move it, but they did not have enough insurance money to take care of it. The city secured a $42,000 contract with Isla Marine to handle the job and break down parts of the boat to try to lighten that load.
All right, many of us are getting ready to have a dinner break, but rain on the way.
Just a few showers out there. Yeah, we're going to watch that exit.
All right.
More news coming up at 9 o'clock on clickorlando.com.
See you then.